time. You can't be this thick-headed to believe that that's what's actually happening.
In terms of winning a championship, this makes the most sense. LeBron James did go to Twitter to make a statement, said, quote, "This is my last decision. I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want the grind. I still want to compete to win and have a chance of the feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help make the Philadelphia 76ers a championship team, and I'm so excited to energize a new fan base and start this incredible journey one last time."
Not for family? So no Bronny?
Not for family. Not that I...
So no Bronny on the roster then?
From an odds standpoint, if you remember, prior to the Jaylen Brown trade, Philadelphia was 70-1 to win an NBA title.
I remember.
After the Jaylen Brown trade goes to 20-1, 18-1. Now at DraftKings, the Philadelphia 76ers are a 9-1 shot to win the Eastern Conference, plus 350. Regular season win total odds are out there, 50.5 that number to win the division, plus 210. If you go to DraftKings actually right now, they have a whole tab just on different ways that you can buy in on LeBron James and the 76ers this year. What do you make of where the market has moved since this has come down?
I mean, I would say again that I think you need to wait to see if Kawhi Leonard's going to be in the Eastern Conference, don't you? Don't you think that's a piece that would alter your thoughts on what this team could accomplish?
When are we going to have a result to that?
By the end of the summer. I was at the press conference for Adam Silver. By the end of the summer is what he said.
That's insane.
He also did voice that it's taking longer than he would like, so we'll see. But I truly do mean that. Look, I think the 76ers team is good, but I think they're a little top-heavy. You do wonder what the bench is going to provide for them as you move forward. We can get into the intricacies of what their rotation would look like, too, post the starting five that they have, which looks really good on paper. But Toronto is a team that I think does have some really strong upside. We cannot ignore the New York Knicks, the defending champions either, a potentially healthy Indiana Pacers. We see this all the time when it comes to the big name landing somewhere, in that because of liability expectations, they're going to be very popular, bet at the window, all these sort of things. You're probably going to short the actual price for a team like the Philadelphia 76ers because they're going to be really popular, going to take on a lot of liability. I think really when you're talking about absolute value, and looking around at the Eastern Conference, I think we say this all the time at this point, you're looking everywhere else but the Philadelphia 76ers. Unless maybe somebody out there has a rating system which is like, nope, this team, I've got them as a, plus 275 to win the Eastern Conference. Maybe your projections are there, but I think in reality, you're looking everywhere else price-wise with LeBron now in the pool. We'll see what happens with Toronto and Kawhi.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of guys on this roster are excited. There was the video reaction of Tyrese Maxey working out when he found out the news. VJ Edgecombe redid the "can't believe this is my life" LeBron James meme. And even the governor out there in Philadelphia, by the power vested in him of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and a diehard Sixers fan, he hereby proclaims today LeBron James Day in the city of brotherly love. There you go. We're just getting started here on Money Moves. When we return, we'll hit the rundown for the rest of the day and dive into what's a 15-game slate in Major League Baseball, including a fun one, coincidentally, in Philly. Cy Young favorite Cam Schlittler taking on Jesus Luzardo in Philadelphia. We'll be back in a moment on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Hey folks, it's Tim Murray from the College Football Betting Podcast. VSiN has an entire network of podcasts dedicating to sports betting, including Gil Alexander's take on beating the book.
This is great for totals bettors. Which umpires skew over? Which umpires skew under in terms of their results?
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit TAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team, pride, Cobras.
Listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
If I could be you,
and you could be me for just 1 hour,
if you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind,
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
It's
it's time to kick back and listen to the Sports Page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
Saturday morning Sports Page. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. 330-707-4202. Get in and talk sports. Or you go to Western Reserve Radio.com and you can get us there. Also, it's the iMedia1 Network and Western Reserve Digital Radio, iMedia1 Network, Youngstown, Ohio. Oh, Dave Clark, a lot to get to. Obviously, the big news yesterday. LeBron made the decision. He says it will be the last decision. Mm-hmm. So he is now a Philadelphia 76er. We talked about it a lot last week, and we actually thought that was the team for him to go to. Yeah. Of all the teams out there, that made the most sense.
Yeah. I thought I don't know. I thought that was the best team.
When we were looking at the roster,
we both
talked Tyrese Maxey, Embiid when he's healthy, Edgecombe, the rookie, the guy he's developing. He's going to be a good player. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey, who's definitely just every year he's going to be maybe one of the top players in the league. He's working in that direction. Young, good guy, energetic, great player. You could just see this team starting to evolve. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a tough, starting five. There's articles saying that this could be the best starting five in the NBA.
Right.
Pound for pound, up and down the roster. But now this was just news on Hoop Hypes that Caldwell Pope is negotiating a buyout with the Grizzlies so he can join the Sixers. As you said, he played with LeBron on the team, the Laker team that won the NBA title in the bubble. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to get his way over to the 76ers.
Right.
So you add him to the roster. It's going to be a pretty tough group, and that's going to be an interesting. Their odds, they are now tied with the Knicks to win the NBA, the East Conference Finals. They're Eastern Conference. They're tied with the Knicks to win the Eastern Conference right now, as far as odds. Their odds were like plus 2,000 and went less than half to 900 once LeBron signed.
Yeah, especially they're not down as they used to be, the Eastern Conference, but still, when you look at it, that is the best place to go in the Eastern Conference. You got a
you're gonna
log jam in the West.
Right. I never really thought he was going to go to the West, just because it's there's too many teams out there. It's too hard to navigate through, especially when you have the teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves, a younger team starting, made their big trade. Mm-hmm. And you could see that the other teams are evolving out there. Oklahoma City, will be back. San Antonio Spurs, obviously, young team. Yep. They'll probably be back. And right now, if you look at NBA odds overall to win an NBA title, right now, the Spurs and the Thunder are tied at plus 270. Mm-hmm. Then it drops to plus 900, Knicks and 76ers. And the Celtics are plus 1,300.
Okay.
Now, here's the other thing. Jaylen Brown, obviously we talked about that last week, how the Celtics traded him to the Sixers. Little did the Celtics know that they might have helped make the 76ers a contender and a superstar team with Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. So if the Sixers win the title, which would be the first time since 1983, 43 years ago, which would be 44, but the point is the Knicks were 73, the Sixers were 83. I think that fans will blame the Celtics for the Sixers winning the title because the Celtics gave away Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. So
yeah, that's very
you're going to
possible.
see fans out there screaming and yelling, and if they're going to say to the Celtics when the Sixers win the NBA title, it's all your fault, Boston Celtics, because you gave away Jaylen Brown for basically, let's call it, over the hill Paul George, but you gave him away and gave him in the division. And now they've got LeBron James and Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey. What are you people thinking about?
Yeah, well, that's what they was rating something that Tyrese Maxey is I forgot it, second in the NBA is the most improved player from 1 year to the next. And then you got Edgecombe, who they didn't know was going to be that solid as a defensive player, and then to shoot from the outside like he does. So that spreads the floor. Now, LeBron has changed his game where he'll help spread the floor too. And the number one-on-one player in the NBA, I didn't know that either, is Jaylen Brown.
It's Jaylen Brown.
Yep, he scores one-on-one. When people try to guard him one-on-one,
right,
it's history. Whether it's down, inside, outside, whatever, he overpowers guys, then he outquicks guys. So when you got all that, and then you got an Embiid that now so much around him might not put as much stress on these legs and knees as before.
No, because he doesn't have to carry the team on his shoulders.
Yeah, it makes a big now. So there are other pieces they gotta put in there, and you know it's just a lot of things they still need to do to get on that. Make sure everything mesh, because that's the thing that all the guys got to mesh. But they already showed that they could do that.
But that's what the regular season is for.
Yeah.
They're going to use the regular season to feel their way through this, get who they need, and figure out the lineup, figure out time as far as how much time the players are going to play together, and they're going to have to kind of tweak it. But to me, all they need to do, this team, they're old anyway, because let's face it, but all they need to do is get into the playoffs. Because once they're in the playoffs, then that's where it counts. That's where the season changes. But with this team in the playoffs, and you have to figure Edgecombe, the young player, is going to be much better because he's going to get to play the season. And LeBron will make everybody on the team better. That's what LeBron does. That's his MO. So he's been that way.
Right.
Even as old as LeBron is, he still makes everybody better on that team. He distributes the ball. He knows the game, does what he does, and he's going to make everybody better on that team.
Yep. And it surprised a lot of people that I didn't surprise us, but that he went to that team. It was like, why would he go? They thought it would be Golden State. Well, Golden State I think he would have definitely went there. They had a lot of stuff they had to work out for him to be able to go there. Money-wise, structure, they could do it. But then I looked at who's the GM for the head GM now. Morey was there.
Morey, they fired him.
And they got, I was forgetting about, who they got there, right? It was Bob Myers.
Okay.
That's Golden State.
That's the old Golden State GM.
Golden State to where they was.
Okay.
And he's a shrewd dude that knows how to, circumvent basically the cap. He knows how to put rosters together. And Morey is another guy that didn't take those stuff, but they had differences. I forgot about that. They had some kind of differences. They got into a lot of things from the front office. That's why they let him go. They said this mutual agreement, but it really wasn't.
No, it never is.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't no mutual. Morey wanted to strangle somebody. So I forgot about Bob Myers took over, and that's a shrewd guy there. So to be able to put that roster together, and to what you were saying earlier, Jim, I agree when you were saying, I know a lot of people will think that as LeBron will try to structure that team the way he wants it. To be honest, when I really sat back and I was listening to something in my these guys on a podcast and talking, I had to think about it. Really, LeBron has never had really been able to really say, "Hey, give me this, give me that," since the first Cleveland. And I said, "What are you talking about?" He did it, but no, he didn't do that in Miami. You're not doing that with Pat Riley.
No.
You're doing what Pat Riley says. That's why after 4 years he was gone and came back to Cleveland. He's not letting you. Not going to dictate to Pat Riley. Okay, so he went after he left. He went back to Cleveland. He was able to do some stuff to maybe some of the guys he wanted, but in the stops he was with the Lakers, nope, that wouldn't happen with the Buss family. They just did what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. Now, they were all in for Anthony Davis. He wanted Anthony, but they also wanted Anthony Davis. They wanted him before they got LeBron.
Right.
At one time, they
Right,
couldn't
they
get
did.
him. So that was something that they wanted. But he's not going to be able to do that there.
Well,
And then you don't
teams
need to.
Right. This team, to be honest, this team is pretty much set in stone anyway.
Right.
Because there's nothing you could really right now do with this 76er team because Jaylen Brown's there and Beater there. Maxi's they're there and they're solid.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
Edgecombe is there too because he has still the rookie deal.
Yeah, that's
he's
yeah.
there. Dean Wade is there for
Come
4
on.
years. Boom.
He came from Cleveland, right?
He came from Cleveland. Anthony Simmons is there.
Now that's
for
the steal.
a year, and he's got.
Now, how did he get him? Bob Myers. Anthony Simmons, remember we talked about him? Portland, a young player.
Right.
Can do all kind of things. He had got him before there was this year. He didn't, add him to it.
He was there
LeBron
before.
is the ad.
Right, LeBron added
Those
on.
guys were already there.
Right.
They got him. He'd already put a good roster together.
Right.
Beforehand.
When you look at the Philadelphia 76er roster, especially now when you add LeBron to it, it was a pretty good roster. With getting Jaylen Brown was really big. Now you throw LeBron on that roster. Now you know why they're basically tied with the Knicks to win the East. And you have to really look at potentially could they win an NBA title with this team. I don't rule it out.
No, I can't rule it out. And Brad Stevens, I feel kind of sorry for him because everybody's going to blame him. But he didn't want to. There's no way he did all that to get the right contract for Jaylen Brown, do all that, worked on that to get him there on a max deal, and then say, okay, let's trade him. I think that was from higher ups because remember what I told you, he was the head of the Players Association. And then once that happened, like any other player, all of a sudden they become major problems.
They become
now.
radioactive.
Chris Paul, we love him. He's a leader.
And then
as soon as he became the
Players
Association leader, all of a sudden he was a cancer.
Radioactive.
So I don't know what it was, why they did it, and why they do it right in the division.
Well,
It's
that's
just unbelievable.
I said last week, and I can't get. I remember on a Seinfeld episode where George Steinbrenner has to go to Costanza's parents to tell him that George is dead, and he goes in there, and he's talking to the Costanzas, and he's talking to Mrs. Costanza, and then he goes, George was a real dynamo, real go-getter, and she's like, you mean you're talking about our George? Like, that is not the George. And then as he's talking, Frank Costanza looks at him and yells, why the hell did you trade Jay Buhner? You don't know what the hell you're doing. And that is sticking in my head this morning because I think I want to go to Brad Stevens. Why the hell did you trade Jaylen Brown? You don't know what the hell you're doing. I should add this. Why the hell did you trade Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers in your division? You don't know what you're doing.
It was an arrogant move. We're going to trade you this guy, and we're going to still beat you.
Right.
That's what it made me think, but
I don't know. Again,
you shouldn't have did that.
No. Trade him out west. Like some other team. The Lakers, Portland, the Clippers, anybody. Anybody.
Well, even before they got LeBron, the thing that got me is they said, okay, Jaylen Brown you go ahead. We send you to the Sixers because we're going to get Anthony Simmons, who's a younger version of Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
With even more athletic.
Right.
Long and he can score on anybody. So we'll just get him. But what happens? The Philadelphia 76ers swoop in and take him also. They get Simmons. The Celtics to get him. And then on top of that, you're going to bring LeBron in.
Yeah.
You just rubbing it. I mean, Bob Myers is just like.
Oh, yeah.
Rubbing it in because that was their plan. It showed that they were going to get Simmons. They was right there talking to him. They ready to get him. And all of a sudden, he made a 360 and said, no, I'm going to the Sixers. And, somebody may see that today and say, well, yeah, you went there, you seen LeBron. No, he was there before LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron looked like it was going to be Golden State or somebody else. Early on, Anthony Simmons got plucked a long time ago when the Sixers seen that the Celtics was trying to get him. They said they'll get him. He fit our scheme, and which is just boy, is that rough. That is rough for something like that to happen. They get all them guys, and we sat here, Pat, discussed that we thought the Celtics was getting Simmons. And then the very next week, you look it up. You said Simmons went to the 76ers.
Well, he was traded. The Celtics had him, and then in February, they traded him to the Chicago Bulls.
And he was a free agent. They could have got him back, right?
Right. And they traded Simmons and a second-round pick for Nikola Vukovic.
Yeah, because they needed the big man.
And a second-round pick. Simmons made 6 appearances with Chicago, 5 starts. Scored 15 points. So he did all right. Then, as a free agent, he was out there. Mm-hmm. He signed with the Sixers for a $12.3 million contract to 2 years. Yeah. Only paying him $6 million a year.
Yeah. And the thing about it, they thought, which would have been a nice move by the Celtics because they traded him for Vukovic,
right?
Who they needed. And he could rebound, he could score. Perfect pickup. And then you look at it and you say, okay, it's the end of the season. We just get him right back.
Right.
Now we got Vukovic and him. You really didn't lose nothing, but it didn't work out that way. The Sixers seen that he was getting ready to go there, swooped in, they get him. Man.
Yeah, he's only 27 years old.
I
mean,
oof.
he's 6'3", 200. He's they got a great player. You got really a solid player there, but you have him. You've got LeBron. Now you have Jaylen Brown on this team, and you have Embiid. And
if they sign, what you said, Pope, and
if you get
Dwight Howard, whoa. And it's not that you're looking for Dwight Howard to score a bunch of points. It's just he could do what he could do. He could play defense and block shots, and he can rebound.
Yeah, the thing is they're going to have to one of their challenges will be keep Joel Embiid healthy for the playoffs, and Embiid does not have to carry this team
right
now, especially with Jaylen Brown, and you throw LeBron in. LeBron's going to make everybody on this team better because that's what LeBron will do.
And I'll look up the Sixers roster, but they have a young center. I forgot his name. He's a young guy who did play when Embiid was hurt and played well. He could play. He can block shots. He can score. He runs the floor. So if you get a veteran like they had in Drummond with the young guy, you allow him to keep on progressing. So you bring in a Dwight Howard, you can keep on having this guy progress, but he'll probably play even more this season. I just when I hear his name,
you have to look it up.
Yeah, you have to look it up because he's going to be on more than likely. He's part of a rookie contract too, though.
Yeah, we'll have to look him up.
Yeah, you have to look because I had to hear the name.
Was it Dominic Barlow?
That's it.
Yeah, Dominic Barlow. That's who I was thinking.
Yep,
yeah,
that's who it is. Yep.
Yeah.
He played for Embiid, and then I seen him
He
when they
did
played
play,
the Cavs.
come in. He played
real
okay last
good.
year.
He played in
came
the playoffs against the Knicks, and he played well.
He's 6'9". Yeah, he played good again. Actually, didn't play bad. He's He's only 23. He's 6'9". He came in. I know they list him as a small forward, but he is. He's not big physical guy, but he can come in.
He just so long. He got that seven
Yep.
wingspan.
He's got this long. He's 6'9", but he's got that, like you said.
Yeah.
He's got that long wingspan. So he could play good for him. And I think that's the whole thing with this team. If they pick up a Dwight Howard, who could at least give them, you could rotate
10, 15 minutes a game.
Barlow and Dwight Howard in and out. Then with Embiid,
keep him fresh.
And main thing I always say, the challenge is just keeping Joel Embiid healthy for the playoffs, not have any debilitating injury. If Dwight Howard can be relatively healthy for the playoff, and you're not burning him up in the regular season with a lot of minutes, because that his knees and ankles and feet can't take that.
Right.
History tells us that. That'll be their challenge. But then with this lineup, they don't have to give or waste a lot of minutes on Embiid, because you've got really a solid team. And I'm sure that will be the challenge for the coaches, figure out the rotation. And you're going to almost want to figure out a rotation with and without Embiid during the regular season.
Right. Yeah.
But with LeBron.
Well, and then the thing with LeBron, too, I know the big thing, like I said, the move there, you're going to hear a lot of negatives, about all that. But just looking at things now, he takes things a little bit different. If I watched that show that's called The Boardroom.
Yeah.
And they did an interview with him. He takes things different. He admitted that his main thing that he was trying to do was catch Michael Jordan.
Right.
And he said one day it happened after his second year at the Lakers. And out of all things, he said, I got talked to by a mentor. And I'm thinking, it's got to be a basketball guy. Who is it? It was Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
you could
Denzel.
probably get this on the thing. Denzel Washington. So why do you don't have to chase anyone.
No.
You got God-given talent.
Right.
So you already have a legacy. You build your own.
Right.
The GOAT is type of thing is only opinionated on what people think.
Yeah.
He said, so he said to him, LeBron said that he told him, he said, if you really want to know who the GOAT is to him, he said, if I pick the GOAT, he said, you know who it would be? And LeBron wanted to know. He said, it'd probably be Michael Jordan. He said, no. It would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
He said because he changed the game from college to pro. They had to change the rules for him. They had to do different things for him. He said that would be his GOAT. He said, but everybody has own opinion. He said, build your legacy. Right. So now I look at, I think he got a 2-year contract. I think he wants to pay where he played, first player ever played a quarter century. That'd be 25 years in the league.
Yeah.
If he played both of them.
Right. That's right. If he plays,
wins a championship.
well, they said he is planning. He is
planning to play 2.
Right.
So that's 25 years, 24th years this year. Next year, 25. If he wins a championship, he'd be the first player in history to ever win 4 championships with different teams. Ever. Nobody's never.
No one's ever done that.
Right. See, so he's building.
Because Big Shot Bob Orry never did that.
No.
He has a lot of championships, but he never has 4.
Yeah, I think he got 6 or 7. Big Bob, Big Shot Bob was no joke. Because I think he's with Houston,
L.A.,
the Lakers. It might have been between them two. I don't know. It seemed like somebody else too. Big Shot Bob was always on.
Yeah, here's Big Shot Bob. He has 2 with the Rockets, 94-95, 3 with the Lakers, 2000, 2001, and 2002. That's the Kobe Shaq Lakers. Mm-hmm. Then he won 2 more in 05 and 07 with the Spurs.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he played for them too. 7 championships, right? Is that 7?
2 and 3. Yep, that's 7.
7.
Big Shot Bob's got 7, NBA championships with 3 different teams. So, if LeBron wins the 76er one, and well, that's what a lot of people are saying. It's just like, kind of like people think, well, LeBron has to have a cause. Like, he's going to a team to do something. Like, all right, he went down to Miami and won because he had the chance to play with Wade and Bosh and win a couple titles.
Mm-hmm.
He also got to 2 other finals and lost.
Right.
Then he went to Cleveland to bring that city a championship where they didn't have a championship in, 52 years from 1964 to 2016.
Right.
So Cleveland had no, they were like, again, they didn't have a title from forever. LeBron got them the title for the team.
Right.
So then he goes out to the Lakers because that's where he wanted to go. And he really wanted to win a title out there with the Lakers because they hadn't won in a while there.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. So he always wanted like a cause, even though Laker fans, when you talk, they don't really accept LeBron as being a Laker.
No. And
they really don't.
And people don't realize that's where his longest tenure
Right.
was.
His longest tenure, though, was with the Lakers.
Right.
But Laker fans don't really consider LeBron a Laker. Like, they don't really embrace him as being a Laker.
Right.
But look at to the L.A. fans, because I want to get to the football here, but because they don't
correct
care.
it, though. He was with the Cavs longer, but we talking about
No,
one stint.
consecutive.
Yeah, consecutive.
He's seasons.
Right. He went 8 with the Lakers, right?
8 straight seasons with the Lakers. He didn't have 8 straight
No, he just
seasons
had
with
7.
the Cavs.
His first one was 7.
Now, we had the most seasons with the Cavs, but
Right.
not 8. But he didn't have the most consecutive
Yeah.
seasons
With him.
with
Right.
the Cavs.
Right.
So that's the difference is
Yep.
the Lakers, he was there. But it's an odd thing because the Laker fans, I don't think, really ever embraced LeBron. And there's the fans saying, yeah, but he won the championship in the bubble. So they dismissed that championship as almost like, well, we won it, but, that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Because, as we know,
they always win.
you got to have the haters out there.
Well, that's what it is.
He can't ever win. And I'm sure if he wins one with the 76ers, we're going to hear it. Oh, Saturday morning sports page. We're just getting started. We go to noon today. Back after this.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Want to know what I like best about high school sports? I love watching my son run on the field. I love the fact that since he's been playing high school sports, he's making better decisions. And I love knowing that with the proper equipment, education, conditioning, and coaching, high school sports here in Ohio are safer than ever before. That's something I really love.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. Western Reserve Radio is the station you're listening to. Number to get in is 330-707-4202. Yeah, talking obviously the headliner. LeBron makes the decision. Going to join the 76ers. I'm not surprised. I kind of...
Yeah, that's the team
I thought we
that was
talked
best.
last week, and looking at the teams, I thought the 76ers was the best team if he wanted to win a title and put himself in that position for another ring. That was the team to go to because they got Jaylen Brown. We railed last week.
I like that guy.
I like Jaylen Brown a lot. I'm still, and now with LeBron and Jaylen Brown on that team,
you know who I feel sorry for? I don't guess I shouldn't, but in a way, I do. I said Brad Stevens. No, I got a player, Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
because they're gonna put all this on him. That hey, you got to lead. He is a great player, but you're gonna take his sidekick away from him.
I
what
still
are you
don't
doing?
Understand.
You can't do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You got to bring another guy in, and see that's the thing that people, they used to talk about that of a lot of with the argument of the GOAT that, and see I've never been overwhelming LeBron fan, but what I try to do is understand it and understand. One thing I do understand is I watch when they get hate on a lot, and then it's to see it. I said the stuff that they go after him about really makes no sense to me because they said, well, Barkley would have never do that. This person would have never do that. Bird would. Why would you? Why would you leave the Celtics? And you got Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, and on and on and on. Why would I
and
leave?
And the same thing with Magic leaving the Lakers.
Why?
That's what I mean.
You got an all-star team.
Worthy.
Jordan
Green.
threatened to leave, and he was getting tired of what was going on with the Bulls in his first 7 seasons.
Oh, yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, let's draft. We did Grant first. Let's get this guy named Pippen. And once you got him, you might not won right away the championship, but you seen the formation. Then they started putting pieces together.
That's what they needed.
And he wasn't going anywhere. There was no reason to leave then. And then another thing, the league in this time and before, since LeBron's been in the league, is more watered down than it was before. It's getting better now. A lot of talent is just great now.
Yeah, it's getting better.
But at that time, it was getting watered down. So you had to have, what I'm thinking of is back in the day, you could go 8 deep, 9 with the Detroit Pistons, the Celtics, Lakers, 9 deep. Play them and don't lose anything.
Yep.
After that, you really had your starters, maybe one guy off the bench, maybe, for you to be a solid team. So you couldn't come in here with just one guy and think you're going to win this championship. You got to have something else.
Oh, you need to.
Houston was very good with Akeem and Ralph Sampson.
Right.
It didn't work as good as they went with
they got
the Twin
to the
Tower.
final.
They got to the final
in '86.
They said we got to do something.
They might have lost to one of the greatest teams of all time.
In the Celtics, right?
That '86 Celtic team with Bill Walton, McHale, and Parrish and Bird.
Yeah. So why are you leaving that?
You never. I mean.
Jerry Seasting.
Right. I mean, you've got that.
I'm going to name him because he made big shots at big time.
Jerry Seasting was a great player for that team.
So
and they made,
Ainge was there, right? What? You're not leaving that. So what did the Houston Rockets do? Oh, we're bringing Drexler and all this other firepower in there.
And then obviously they worked in and they got Akeem in from Houston, when they drafted him out of Houston.
Right.
Olajuwon, again, some people say that he may be the most highly skilled center ever to play.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as what he could do.
That footwork was tremendous.
Just an absolute unbelievable player was Akeem Olajuwon. But you take those teams you could get into these discussions. I mean, maybe a lot of it could be age, but I grew up and I remember like Kareem, who was Lou Alcindor back then with UCLA.
Right.
Everybody was just enamored with Lou Alcindor. But I mean, we were like kids growing up, and you were just like wanting to, like Lou Alcindor was like it. We would go, everybody wanted to do a sky hook. Like we would practice a sky hook in the playground. Kids would just say, here, we'd all take turns doing sky hooks just because Lou Alcindor a la Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did them.
Yeah.
And we were just enamored with him. And we would watch like every game, like UCLA was in, we watched. Like we were just, everybody was like, he was must watch TV. He was like a rock star, like with kids. Because everybody saw he was 7'4", 7'5". He was skilled like no belief. And they changed the rule, wouldn't allow him to dunk. And actually he came out and said, that made me better.
Yeah, it did. Because he had one of the greatest bank shots.
Yes.
Like from angles.
From angles.
He could shoot the bank shot off the glass.
And then he developed the sky hook.
Yeah. And that right there just developed his whole game. So he had a jumper.
He had
a sky hook that was almost impossible. Only seen a couple people be able to get a hand on it and trying to tip it away. And I think it was Chamberlain. Then a smaller, what's his
Chamberlain
name?
did.
Who's at Golden State? What's his name?
Nate Thurman.
Nate Thurman. Only about 6'7" or 8", but he was able to time. His timing was perfection, and he was able to tip that ball once on a sky, but you couldn't even get to it. It was something that you could, like Chamberlain said, you couldn't get it.
No.
So all you could do is just try to take his vision away.
Right.
And that's it. You try
and
to
that's
get
all
his
you could do.
Yeah, that's all you could do.
Wilt did block it.
Yeah.
He didn't. Russell had retired the year, and then Jabbar came in after that. The year after Russell retired, Kareem came in that year.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
Milwaukee. So they missed one another by the year.
Yep.
Because Russell retired in 68, 69, and then Kareem basically
came in 69, right?
He came in 69, 70. Yeah, he was drafted in 69 by the Bucks. Russell had retired that year. Kareem came into the league the next year, lost to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Knicks with Willis Reed, Walt Frazier won the title that year, but then Kareem won it the next year when they swept the Baltimore Bullets with Wes Unseld,
Elvin Hayes.
And Elvin Hayes, I believe, was on that's 69. So that's a good question. That's 70, 71. Was Elvin
Hayes?
Yeah, was Elvin Hayes on that team? I don't think he was. I think he was still with the Houston Rockets.
Because that's where he won his first championship, right? Who did he win his first championship with? The
I
Bullets?
think his first was the Baltimore Bullets. Well, they were the Washington Bullets in 78.
Right.
Let me look this up. This is going to, because if I don't, I'm going to be like I wasn't. Elvin Hayes wasn't on that. The team that got swept by the I think he changed his name the next year. Like, it was really weird with Kareem's name because he'd already changed it, but they didn't let it out. Like, the press, they were still. Then it was the following year he came out and said, I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he was Lou Alcindor there for a while when he really wasn't.
Yeah.
But the team that he was on in 70, 71 that swept, and that was a very good Milwaukee Buck team. That Baltimore Bullet team that lost to Kareem in 70, 71, Elvin Hayes wasn't on that team. Okay. Earl Monroe was on that team, and so was Wes Unseld. And that was the whole problem, realistically, is that was a horrible matchup for the Baltimore Bullets because they beat the Knicks and they upset the Knicks in the conference finals that year. Bradley missed a jumper in Game 7, and that base from the side, and they ultimately beat the Knicks. And if I said had the Knicks won and beat the Bullets, they probably would have had another championship because they had beaten the Bucks during the regular season. And Willis Reed, they kind of had their number.
Right.
But when the Knicks got beat, that was the best thing that ever happened to Milwaukee Bucks, because then they got the Bullets. It was a horrible matchup because really Wes Unseld was 6'7", he was really 6'5", and Kareem was basically 7'4", and it was. I just remember as a kid, watched it.
Yeah.
And it was the games weren't that good because Kareem just dominated. They couldn't guard him.
Right. Yeah.
It was just they had Gus Johnson, who was from Akron, Ohio. He was on that team, and and then they had Earl Monroe, Kevin Lockery, Jack Marin, John Tresvant, Wes Unseld, Jim Bad News Barnes, who was actually a Knick, and then he was traded around. But Freddie Carter, Mad Dog Carter, was on that team. It was a good team.
Guy. That
was a good team.
Mad Dog Carter.
Mad Dog Carter. That was a good. They got
right
to
there.
the finals. It was just a bad matchup for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that 70-71 Milwaukee Buck team was a good team. Bob Dandridge.
Oh, yeah. Bobby Dandridge.
John
Number 10.
McLaughlin was on that team, I believe, and it was Kareem.
Yeah, they had a good team there.
That was a good basketball team.
Yeah.
And Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
The Big O.
Yeah, was still playing.
The Big O.
Forget him.
Oscar was on that team with
Kareem. He was
Kareem.
at the end of his career, but he was
No,
still,
but he could still
triple
play.
doubles. He was still getting them then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Oscar Robertson was still, I mean, people, sadly, you talk GOATs. And
It could be too.
You can make arguments that Oscar could be a GOAT. He could be the GOAT.
I mean, he was. You couldn't stop him.
You could
He could score. He could rebound.
Rebound.
The assist was unbelievable.
He could
passer.
do right.
And smart. A smart basketball player.
Right. But he was the president of the Players Association too.
Yes.
And he got He was kind of radioactive.
Yes, that's right.
But he became
See,
president.
It's not.
It's
I
not,
know you might. When I first said, you
right.
probably was trying to think.
Right.
See, you bring it way back to that. Remember?
Yes.
He did what he did when he played was so extraordinary. Yes, they talked about the Big O. You know that. But did he get what he was acclaimed to get for what he did during his playing days? No way. He didn't get that at the Cincinnati Royals, Milwaukee, but none of them. He didn't get that. So, and like you said, he was a guy that was outspoken player.
Oh, was.
That guy will speak his mind, and they didn't like that. And they wouldn't like it today either. But back then, as a black man, speaking out about stuff going on in the league that they didn't really want him at one time in the league, oh, my goodness. They had some issues with him. They had some issues with him.
Yeah, you see, and that's
Oscar.
Right.
But the guys loved his teammates, and the guys loved him.
He was 32 years old when he won the title with the Milwaukee Bucks, he and Kareem.
Yeah.
And he was really the missing piece of the puzzle. He got Oscar and lights
That was
out.
it. Yep.
And they
Done.
had that Buck team was with Oscar and Kareem and Bobby Dandridge, who was a great player.
Yep.
That was really and then I think John McLaughlin, who could shoot the eyes out of the basket, was on that team too.
Yep.
They had that was a nice team that they put together.
Yeah.
But with the Big O and with Kareem.
What can you do? Man.
And like you said, Oscar was just unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. That guy was great.
You couldn't guard him. He could rebound. He could back you down. And it was always the argument you have is, who was better, Jerry West or Oscar Robertson?
Yeah. It went on for the longest.
And for a best, it was like forever, because they were kind of joined at the hip. I believe they came out together almost. They were on, I believe, the 1960 men's basketball team that won the gold medal. And then they came into the league together.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just joined at the hip.
Yep.
But nobody could beat the Celtics in the 60s.
Yeah. It was just
the Cincinnati Royals couldn't, and neither could Jerry West.
In the Lakers, yeah.
Oscar couldn't beat Russell, and neither could West and the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And now people could argue that maybe Bill Russell should be the GOAT. The man won 11 championships in 13 years. Who does that?
Yeah.
Name me another player that has ever done that. You can't.
No.
It's not even close. Not in football. Any
Anything.
sport.
Anything.
Name me any player in any sport.
No,
like
you can't do it.
You know, as far as team sports.
Right. Yeah, you can't. It's
Who
too hard to do it.
won 11 NBA titles in 13 years?
That's why I said it's always when you pick that
You can't.
as the GOAT.
Right.
You can't. What criteria are you going to use?
That's
If you're
what I
going to
mean.
use championships, then you got to go Bill Russell. You have to, if that's your main
If that's
criteria.
your criteria.
So if you just all overall, I think Jordan said it the best. He doesn't like talking about it because it's different eras.
Right.
One guy or two or three could be great in this era.
Right.
And then somebody can be great in a different era.
Right.
Now, he does speak of when people say, he said it's insane when they said that LeBron could not play in the old era. He said there's no way that be true. But there's also been talk that if Jordan played in this era, he wouldn't be able to play. That's idiotic.
Ridiculous.
Because he was before his time in his skill set. And the things he did was just unstoppable, and he would still be unstoppable.
Right.
He'd have been scoring, averaging 50. Right. You can't touch him. He's averaging 50.
Right.
You know, but back then they could handshake, they could do all kind of things.
Right.
But towards the end of his career, those last 3 championships, they lightened some of that a little bit. It still was
Right.
real physical,
Right.
but they lightened some of
They
it
did.
when that, what is it called, Jordan rules came
Right.
out.
The
And they looked into that and said, "Oh wait, we got to cut
Right.
some things
The
back."
hand checking. I remember they took
took
away
that-
hand checking.
Yeah,
And that made a difference.
and that's just he was just super unstoppable
Moves
then.
through- yeah.
So I mean, that's why you look at things and say, "How do you pick that?" I look at a guy that was a professional scorer, Michael Jordan. He was a great scorer
Right.
all the time. LeBron James was never a scorer. LeBron James was a technical
facilitator.
Yep, and a basketball player that he didn't have to be the leading scorer.
No,
Didn't
but
care about it.
that wasn't his game.
So when you look at it, I love Gilbert Arenas when he talked about it. He said, you look at it, how do a guy had the most points in history that wasn't even a scorer? He said that's a guy that could score if he wants to score, or he don't. He chooses to. He chooses, I'm a lead a team, I'll be the scorer, even though I'm not a scorer. He said that's how you know what a great player is. So
the only other player that I saw that played as to LeBron's age and was as great as Kareem. Kareem was a great player when he was 40.
yeah.
Like
He
LeBron.
retired at 42, I think. Didn't he?
Yeah, he was 42 when he retired. I would probably say that last year he wasn't quite as good as he was. So he's 42. But Kareem
in his last year, yeah.
In last year,
In
know,
his
he's
last-
just
yeah.
got on like, okay, at 89, he was
Yeah,
like,
I think he averaged like 14.
Yeah,
But he still was
if you
doing.
look, he still,
was
like,
doing
right.
what he did.
and he
his
was
job.
42 years old.
Right.
And he wasn't quite the Kareem that you grew up, because again, he came in the league in 69, 70, and he lasted until 88, 89.
Right.
So I was like 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was unbelievable for 20, really almost 21, but 20 years. He was guy still
Yeah.
one of the greatest. But I mean, it's just that you break it down, I see him, but then you make an argument. And I always say Will Chamberlain could have been a GOAT. Might have make the argument
kept
he
playing.
could have
They
been
kept.
a GOAT.
Remember how many times they kept trying to sign him out of retirement?
Oh, yeah, the
All
Knicks
these teams-
the Knicks were like hounding him when he was 40, 50 years old. Come on in and play for the Knicks at the age of 50, because we know you can still play. Like,
Yeah.
they felt that Chamberlain still had something in his tank, and they were actually going after him.
Yeah, I
Wilt,
know.
we think you still have something left here. Give it a try.
Because he was
please.
still playing in these volleyball
He was
leagues.
playing in those volleyball leagues
And-
out
and-
on the West Coast there.
And they seen him
forever.
in basketball still playing. They said, "Hey, this guy's still moving
Right.
great." It's the same thing with Akeem. After
Right.
they kept. That's when they say, "You just need to come on out. You
Right.
instead of training these guys, look what you're doing."
Right.
He
'cause
wouldn't come out.
He wouldn't come out. Olajuwon was the same way, because he was showing the guys what to do and how to do it in practice, and how he was training. if you want to call it that, these younger players on how to play the position.
And they said he was when they play one-on-one, he
right.
was just
he
misusing.
was still smoking everybody one-on-one. And they were saying, well, he could still play. And they were trying to sign him and say,
come out of retirement.
Come on out of retirement because we know you could still play. You have it. We watch you in practice. We don't have to play you, 40 minutes. Come in and we know you can give us 15 to 20 and still play great. He wouldn't do it.
No. And a lot of times the guys lose that edge of the grind part. Practices and all this other stuff, the travel. They don't feel like doing that no more.
That's what it is.
And then that's why they don't come back.
A lot of those guys just get sick of the travel because it's a grind.
Yeah. But if he had that in him to say, hey, I want to keep on playing, he could have. Chamberlain could have.
Right.
Olajuwon,
and
there's no
people
doubt.
Don't realize, and this is what always gets me, is like when they don't respect those older players, their travel was terrible. They, Chamberlain and Russell were like flying commercial jets, economy class back then. They weren't even in first class because the owners didn't have the money to put those guys in first class.
Right.
Because they didn't want to, because they had 42 games or 40 games, 41 games to travel, and they didn't want to pay first class for all those players. So they stuck them back when they had to fly, and it's like, and then if they didn't fly, they went by bus in the early part of the career. I mean, those guys' travel was like, could you imagine Wilt Chamberlain and Russell sitting in, and Nate Thurman and some of those guys, those centers sitting in what was an economy class, but it was, standard travel.
Right.
They couldn't, how could they be comfortable?
Yeah, I know they weren't. I know
but
those
I mean,
knees was aching when they got off.
Right. And then they played. They went.
Yeah.
They had no. That was there's no load management, and they played night in and night out. They traveled and played. Yeah. They didn't take days off. They didn't have them.
No, because they had back-to-backs all the time.
All the time.
Yep. Back-to-back.
Right.
I forgot about that. They had played 3 nights in a row. So.
And you had those guys then playing. I remember when Bill Russell negotiated his last contract. He wanted $101 for his last year or something, because he wanted to be $1 more than Wilt Chamberlain, because Chamberlain was getting 100,000. So he went in. He goes, "You got to give me 101 because I want to be $1 more than Wilt, because Wilt was the highest."
All right.
That was just the thing. It was so funny when you're reading this, because that's how they were like.
And people thought they hated each other.
No, they didn't really.
They did, no, they
were pretty good friends.
Yeah.
All
they just had a competitive nature when they played each other.
When they played,
they
played. They were very competitive. And the sad thing with Wilt, and I just think it amazes me, is people is so short-sighted. Well, Wilt only has 3 titles, or 2. He won
Lakers.
No, he only has 2. Lakers and one with the Sixers.
Yeah.
Now people argue that those 2 teams are in the discussion for greatest teams of all time.
Yeah,
Wilt's the guy. But what always bothers me is that people just down on Wilt. Oh, he wasn't this. He couldn't. They kept beating they couldn't beat the Celtics, the greatest team in history.
Right.
And there's no free agency, and you had that same Celtic team with Havlicek, Sam Jones, Casey Jones every year with Russell. And Tommy Heinsohn, Satch Sanders every year. Same team.
Yeah.
And you couldn't beat them because they were just better than you.
Right.
I mean, Sixers had good teams, and so did the Lakers. Jerry West couldn't beat them either.
Right. Yeah, it was just
you
that's
just
how
kept.
it was.
People don't seem to understand that the Boston Celtics, and that's what cracks me up. Well, the NBA wasn't that good that back then. No, it was better because you only had 8 or 9 teams.
Yeah.
Look it up. So you were playing those, and they were good teams.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of the talent wasn't very diluted because you only had that many teams.
And that's why, like I said before, what Jordan said, the airs
you
is different.
Can't compare
because you look at players today and what they can do.
Yeah.
No, they didn't do that back then. They didn't have the development to be able to do. Somebody back there probably had the athletic skills that could do it, but it wasn't all the way around like it is today.
Well,
so it's different. That's the different era, different skill sets at the time.
Those players had to have jobs in the off season.
Yeah.
They weren't making enough money
to play basketball.
To play basketball year round.
Right.
They actually had to get jobs off this. All professional athletes back 50s, 60s, and into the 70s, but especially the 50s and even way before that. Football, all of those players.
Yeah.
They weren't getting any money.
Right.
None. I mean, those players in the 50s and the 60s.
It's got prestige. They didn't get money.
They're not get. Look what Sam Jones's make is just a criminal. I mean, Sam Jones was maybe one of the best underrated shooters of all time. Guy could just shoot the eyes for the Celtics. Sam Jones was unbelievable. It's just a great team. He was making any money. None of those guys on those teams made that much money.
Right.
And that's and they had to work. So they couldn't train. It was like you were just saying about developing skill.
Yeah.
They had great skill, but it wasn't like
you didn't know who could go to a certain level because they didn't play year round.
Right.
Then they couldn't. So it's a different. That's why all things are different.
And that's when Jordan Trent and Willis Reed said the same thing.
Right.
They asked him one time. I saw the interview, and he says, "I don't like to compare players in different eras."
Right. Well, John Thompson once said, if you made, and it was the GOAT thing then, LeBron was playing, this was the early year of LeBron when they said he could, they was talking about Kobe and all this. He said, if you really wanted to say something about a GOAT, he said, my player, Allen Iverson, could be a GOAT. So I started thinking, he said, let's make Allen Iverson 6'6". Same skills, let's make him 6'6". And I started thinking about that. If he was the size of Jordan, how do you stop that?
You couldn't stop him. You couldn't
stop him at that size.
Anyway, at his normal size. He was 6'6". Scary.
That's insane to think that.
Yeah. I always thought that Allen Iverson played it in a different dimension. He was just quicker than everybody. Everybody. Saturday Morning Sports Page, 1 hour in the books, 2 hours to go. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, back after this.
Your home for PAFL football is the iMedia1 Network. Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast, Youngstown, Ohio.
Are you tired of switching apps just to catch your favorite shows and live events? Say hello to the iMedia1 Network app, your one-stop destination for streaming and everything that matters. From national sports to exclusive local content, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast are now all in one place, anytime, anywhere. Download the free iMedia1 Network app on iOS and Android and unlock the future of sports audio in the palm of your hand. The iMedia1 Network, your sports app in the Valley.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Saturday Morning Sports Page back. Hour 1 in the books, hour 2 up front here. Talking a lot about great players in the NBA history. And that these discussions with the GOAT. Who is the GOAT in the NBA?
And I think it just, like I said, different eras. Because at
Different
one time
eras.
I could tell you, you can go between Magic and Bird, who's the best.
Flip a
at
coin.
one time, because at one time they just ruled.
Well, you know what? It's like, it's funny you think about this. You had Magic and Bird in the league together. And you had Oscar Robertson and Jerry West in the league together. I believe, I have to look it up, but I believe they both came in at the same time.
Right.
Maybe a year apart, but I'll look it up. But the point is, they were pretty much joined at the hip. They kept running into Bill Russell in the the Celtics in the 60s. You couldn't beat the Celtics in the 60s. Nobody could. It's like the same thing. The Knicks ran into Jordan. So did Barkley. Look in the 90s, and who was dominating the 90s? Jordan.
Right.
And the year he sat out, Hakeem Olajuwon won it.
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years, yeah, because they won it.
They won
back
it
to back.
Back to back. But when you start looking at, I always like to look at the NBA as decades, because I think it's very interesting when you look at decades, because like you look at the later 50s, but you look at really the 60s, and it's the Celtics dominating. And great teams, great teams in the 60s, but they couldn't get past the Celtics. It doesn't mean, and that's what always like people say, well, like Ewing didn't have a ring. He kept running into Jordan. Charles Barkley, they don't have a ring. Michael Jordan. That was the common denominator, that they just couldn't beat those Bull teams.
Right.
And then you had Hakeem and those two Rocket teams that were great teams. And they took advantage of that downside. And the Knicks had the Rockets in Game 7 and couldn't beat the Rockets in the Game 7 and win the one title that Ewing could have won. And then you start looking at that landscape, and then you start looking at the NBA in the 80s, and it was really the Celtics and the Lakers.
Yep.
They
dominated that.
And that was Bird Magic.
Right.
And that was pretty much the 80s. And then you look at the 90s, and you're really looking at, to some extent, Jordan and Hakeem. Hakeem's got 2. Jordan's, there's 10 years in the decade. Hello. Okay. Simple math. But you take the 1960s, and if you break it down, I believe the Celtics won 9 championships, and the 76ers won 1 in the 60s.
Right.
The 70s is a little different, because that's kind of a mismatch of good teams. It's like the Knicks won 2 titles. You take the Lakers, they won that one title with Chamberlain, greatest team in maybe history, 71-72. Then the Celtics won in 74 and 76. Golden State won in 75. Then in 77, Portland Trailblazers won with the young Bill Walton, which was a very underrated team and not one of the greatest teams, but Bill Walton made everybody very good. I mean, he might be, had he stayed healthy, maybe he could have been the GOAT if he stayed healthy, center-wise. Okay. Then in 78, it was the Bullets winning finally with Unseld and Hayes and Mitch Kupchak on that team. In 79 were the Sonics. But the 70s is just kind of a decade where it was all over the map. There was no dominant team like the 60s. Then the 80s, it was really, you look at who won it in the 80s.
Lakers and Celtics.
The Lakers, Celtics, and then toward the end of the decade, the Pistons won.
That's right. That's who took over.
That kind of took over for a time, and then Jordan took over.
Right after that.
Right after that.
He was being dominated his first 7 years in the league. So, and then and then he had the little break in between, still in the 90s.
Right.
But that's when
Olajuwon took advantage of that.
Right.
And then that takes you basically to the 2000s, Now the Spurs, and then that was kind of the 2000s is an interesting makeup because when you look at the decade, the Spurs won the strike year in 1999. They beat the Knicks that year to end the decade. But then who starts the decade off in a bang? The Lakers, with Shaq, Kobe winning 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Spurs step in there, and they win in 03 and 05. And then the Detroit Pistons upset the Lakers in 04. Then again, you start, and then 06, it was an odd year, but the Heat beat Dallas in 06.
Mm-hmm.
07, I believe 07 was the year that LeBron got swept by the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then 08 was basically the Celtics.
Again, yep. Yeah. That's the
And then
Kevin Garnett.
Right, that was the Garnett group.
Yeah.
And then I think what was 09 and 010 was the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
With Kobe.
Again, yep. Because he won with Gasol.
With Gasol, because he didn't have Shaq.
Right. Yep. He won 2 with Gasol and those guys over there.
Yeah. The Lakers basically won. Celtics beat the Lakers in 08. Cavs were swept by the Spurs in 07, as we said. Lakers won back-to-back. They beat the Magic in 09, the Celtics in 2010. Then LeBron goes to the Heat, and then the Heat lose to the Mavericks in 11. LeBron wins back-to-back 12 and 13 with the Heat. Then he loses the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
14. But then you see, this is what people like with cracks me up with. I know that LeBron, but LeBron was he was in the finals
10 straight years.
Yeah. I mean, he got in the finals.
And that's what people say, oh, well, he's a loser. Well, you're never a loser.
So Chamberlain was a loser? I mean,
that's why I said when they talk about Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills.
He got the 4 of them.
Who does that?
That's it. You still
Minnesota
got the 4.
Vikings. You got to it. Yeah, you got beat each one. You got beaten each one, but to get there, to be able to lose it and come back the next year and say, we're going to do this again.
And you got
lose
there again.
And come back again. And
Buffalo,
that's insane.
That is.
To keep that kind of mentality, to be able to make it, the mental fortitude was great to be able to get there. But, hey, they just didn't have it against teams that was just, rock solid. Dallas was rock solid. The Giants was rock solid. And that was the best of those Super Bowls that the Buffalo Bills played in because they didn't play well against Dallas and they didn't play good against Washington.
No, their 4 Super Bowls, their first was the one that sadly got away. That was the one they really should have won. They played well enough to win. But the Giants, I think it was Parcells really outcoached Levy. Yeah. That was just because Buffalo had that great offense that Parcells put and Belichick
and
with the great defense.
They kept them to death, and they were able to run the football.
Yep.
Keep the clock running.
That's it.
And kept that offense off
the
field.
Jim Kelly on the sidelines watching the game.
Right. And that was the key.
That was the key to that game.
Sustained drive.
Because Buffalo was favored. I believe Buffalo was favored going into that game.
Yeah. I would like to see what that was because I wouldn't be surprised if it was close to double figures because how prolific their offense was back then. But the Giants kept them completely off the field, though. They did an excellent job of what they did. Who thought O.J. Anderson, as he was affectionately called, or Otis Anderson, but he was called O.J. Anderson at that time. And, man, that dude just ran the ball. I mean, they just kept running the ball. And I know people wanted to see the passes, but he would do stuff at certain times when he needed to pass.
Buffalo, for the record, was 6.5 to a 7-point favorite to beat the Giants.
Okay.
And they lost by 1 point.
Yep.
Norwood missed the field goal to win the game.
I mean, it was there. They got in position, perfect position. He was a guy that could kick.
But he hadn't kicked that distance all year. on grass.
On grass.
That's what Belichick said to Parcells. That's that saying that Belichick went up to Parcells before and said he won't make it. This is it was a 50-yarder, but he said that he hasn't kicked that. He can't kick it on grass, and he was right.
Yeah, and it was. It's a difference.
It was.
And if he knows he has trouble on grass, he's a human being. It can have a psychological effect on, sometimes you can't block everything out. And that thing just kept drifting. And you could see it, man. And, they said he went through some mental situations at Norwood. He almost committed suicide and all that after that. That's sad, boy.
47-yarder.
Yep.
For the record. On grass. He missed it with.
And he was an excellent kicker.
He was a great kicker.
But he just
Scott Norwood was a great kicker.
It was one that you said, they don't block this.
Right.
He's going to make it.
Sailed, went right of the uprights as time ran out.
Yep.
And wide right. And the Giants won their second Super Bowl title with running back Otis Anderson was the MVP because they kept Kelly off that field. And that what was it called? The Tommy Gun offense?
Yeah.
They were a great offensive team, Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, but I tell you,
and
Anderson,
Otis Anderson.
He got some of his Arizona, Phoenix Cardinals thought process back during that Super Bowl because he looked young in that Super Bowl. He was running with, the ability that he always had. And, man, unbelievable.
That was, maybe you make an argument, you always think how great of, and you think about it, and what was his, let's see, the Super Bowl stats? He had 23 career carries for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And see, that's this point. Just over 4 yards a carry. It was above 4 yards a carry, but just pounding it. And then, it was just, it was great how they did it because Sims would hit those passes when they had a 3rd and 7 or something and get that first down, right back to the running game.
I make up a mistake? Let's see. Yeah, 21 attempts and 103 yards, 4.8 a carry. He had one rushing touchdown. The 20, and that's basically kept that Buffalo Bill offense off the field.
Yeah.
They got clutch first downs. And I believe, I think, And I think that still the time of possession is a record.
Yeah, well, I remember one of the things that Sims kept doing is taking the play clock to single digits before they snapped.
Oh, that was Hostetler.
Hostetler, yes.
That was Hostetler. Yeah. Backup quarterback, yes. That was the other thing.
Kept doing it.
The first, I believe, and only Super Bowl that a backup quarterback ever won. Hostetler was the backup.
Yep.
Sims broke his foot in the Buffalo game. I think it was game 10. And then Hostetler took him the rest of the way and then ultimately got him into the Super Bowl, and he won. Hostetler won the game.
Yeah.
But again,
I remember
he would
that.
take
Kept
that
single
clock.
Digits. It was smart. Man.
Very good. Hostetler was a very good quarterback.
Yeah, he did good.
Yep.
He came to the Raiders, and he did a good job there,
He was a good quarterback. I always liked Hostetler. That was really good. Solid quarterback, very good.
It's just guys like that, him and Rich Gannon.
Yeah.
He was with the Raiders. I used to like him at the Vikings. I said, man, that guy is a good athlete, Rich Gannon. And he turned out to be a pretty good quarterback overall. Just the stupidness of, I hate to say it like that, but what's the line coach, Callahan? To this day, how do you take the Raiders to the Super Bowl, and they were dominant too, with Rice and Tim Brown, and don't change anything on your offensive philosophy?
No.
Kept the same play calls, the same, like if you call off a play, same signals and everything. And John Gruden was
He was
just
the
hollering.
other team.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay.
He's hollering out to John Lynch.
He coached He
Lynch
coached
knew
him
it.
the year before.
Remember John
Yep.
Lynch said, I knew everything they was getting ready to run.
I think that was in that Tampa Bay special that they did.
That's what it was. Isn't it?
That
he knew everything.
Because they never changed.
They never changed it. They'll
And
say
he
a code.
knew.
He's like, oh, guys, get
All
on.
right, I know that play. I know that guy.
That's why it looks so awful. It was just a dominant thing. I was like, man, the Raiders have been great on off. They couldn't get the ball to Rice. They couldn't get it to Tim Brown. That was a mess. That was a mess.
Here's one of the probably ultimate time of possession, talking about the 91 Super Bowl, but the Giants possessed the ball 40 minutes and 33 seconds compared to the
19?
Buffalo Bills 19 minutes and 27 seconds. It said the record-breaking drive, the Giants executed a 75-yard third-quarter touchdown drive consuming 9 minutes, 29 seconds, setting a record for the longest single drive by time in a Super Bowl history.
Right.
Possession.
Now, what do you think that did to a defense to be on the field that long?
That's what I mean. That Buffalo defense.
They dragged it along.
Right.
They dragged it along.
Dragged that out nine and a half,
They scored a touchdown.
9.5 minutes.
And scored a touchdown.
And they scored the touchdown.
That is a demoralizing drive. That's what that is. So.
And it also says here that Buffalo had the ball less than 8 minutes in the second half of that game. They had the ball less than 8 minutes.
Well,
in the
you can't
second
win
half.
if you ain't got the ball.
That's what I mean.
And you only lost by 1 point.
One point.
And that lets you know that them running football, like I said, taking that down to the last few seconds of the clock, all great strategies. They won that football game by definitely being out-coached. You know, I mean, I felt Buffalo needed to take chances. They needed to start run blitzing back
Yeah,
then.
they needed to do something.
And just say,
they never did.
You got good I mean, at that time, I can't remember all the corners, but I remember Nate Odom. I'm not Nate. Was his name Nate? It might have been Nate Odom, number 37. That's all I remember.
Right.
That corner was a very good corner. And I'm thinking, why aren't you playing man-to-man? Just put it on them.
They got it.
And make something happen, but they wouldn't. They played standard defense and just kept getting mowed for 3 yards.
Giants,
4.
The 3 yards.
2 yard carry. 7 yard. It was just unbelievable. Then he'd throw a little out pass, get a first down, keep on running.
But all it was, that's still a record, Super Bowl record of time of possession. Is the Giant 40 minutes, 33 seconds is a Super Bowl record.
And if you only had 7-8 minutes in the second half, you can't win like that.
No, it's also the first Super Bowl to feature two teams representing the same state.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo, New York, and Buffalo being New York, but that was the first time that happened in the Super Bowl.
And you know another thing? It wore down the defense, but it also messed the offense of Buffalo up because the Tommy Gunn offense was a rhythm offense. What kind of rhythm you have when you're never on the field?
You can't get any rhythm. You're not on a field.
Yeah. So they never had any kind of consistency or rhythm in that game, and it showed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that was, Parcells, that was one of the best game plans as far as then execution, the team, and the blocking. Think of all the run blocking that they did. Mm-hmm. Allow like Woody Hayes the 3 yards in the cloud of dust, but that's what they did. They ran, and that's how Woody Hayes would win a lot of games with Ohio State. The other team just never got to see the ball because because he would run with Archie and Pete Johnson. I digress, but again, ball possession. And the Giants, that's how the Giants won their second Super Bowl was just
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when you think about it, that's how the Cowboys beat Buffalo too.
Yeah.
Only thing that was different is they dominated with the run, and then they hit big plays on pass, and then
pass.
The offense wasn't on the field. By the time they got on the field, they were already down 20-something points.
Yeah, it was too late.
You couldn't come back on that Cowboy team.
Yeah, that Dallas, those two Cowboy, especially the one Cowboy team, that first time they played Buffalo, that Cowboy team was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that line was just brutal. I mean,
you wasn't beating them.
Just they weren't going to beat them, and it was obvious. I remember watching that game. The second game, I think Buffalo was up at halftime, 14-0, and then it was almost like Dallas woke up and then just dominated that second half. And then Buffalo was really dominated by Washington in the second Super Bowl that they went to, where they weren't really competitive. Rippon was the quarterback for Washington, and he was having a great season, and they just dominated. That was a great Washington team, though, too.
Yep.
Buffalo was a very good team. They just ran, especially 3 out of those 4 Super Bowls, they just ran into some really great teams.
Yeah.
Like that Washington team and those 2 Dallas teams, those lines were unbelievable.
Yeah, you weren't going to do nothing with that.
No.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable play.
That brings us to 2026 football.
Yeah, that's right. That opens up the door to 2026. And we're going to, because we want to talk about the divisions.
Okay.
But I actually wanted to share something with you, what we've said a lot on this show. They were saying that on LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox, the 2 pros, Cup of Joe, great show. But LeVar Arrington, he lives out, in L.A. So does, I think, Jonas Knox. But they were talking about the Ram fans, how, they're kind of nonchalant. They were saying, the fans out here really don't care.
Right.
He goes, but you haven't had a team out here in 4 decades. People forget that they were really the Anaheim Rams in 1980 on. They weren't in L.A.
No.
They were.
No, when it was with Dickerson, they were.
That was the Anaheim Rams. That was the 80, and then they moved to St. Louis in 95, and then they come back, and the fans don't really. They're not into it, and they were saying that really L.A. is a Dodger town and a Laker town, but really a Dodger town, and the rest, they care. They like more the Lakers, but the Rams are down on the list. He goes, it's a Raider. LeVar Arrington says, this is Raider town, man. He goes, you see people out here with Raider stuff.
Yeah.
You said
Oh,
that.
yeah. It's always been like that.
It's a Raider. They love the Raiders in L.A.
Yeah,
We talked about
that's
this.
where they really, I know
That's
they're
where
in
they
Vegas.
should have moved the Raiders.
They should let them just be the L.A. Raiders.
They should have just moved them back to L.A.
That's
because they
got an identity there.
That's
the only other identity they had was Oakland. Yes, it's perfect, but the next spot was the LA.
It's L.A.
Yep, and it should have just been there.
They moved to L.A. and they became L.A.'s team because when they moved to L.A., if you live California, the Rams were considered the Anaheim Rams. They weren't L.A.
No.
They just did not look at them as really the L.A. Rams. And when they moved the Raiders down there, they just loved that team, and they loved the logo, they loved the team.
Yeah.
And then when they moved back, they still liked they still root for the team down there.
Yeah, no, they still do.
And this is when the Rams play a home game and they're playing the 49ers, it sounds like a Niner home game because all the Niner fans buy up the tickets.
Yeah.
As all the other teams do.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh, and it's worse with the Chargers.
It is. And it's always worse with teams like Pittsburgh.
Where they love
because they travel
They
too
travel.
well. And yes,
Philadelphia.
people might not think, or Cleveland. Say what you will about the Cleveland Browns. That's probably the greatest traveling team in football. They got fans. I don't care where you go. There are loads of Browns fans, and they will. And they go and play out there against the Rams. Matter of fact, I think the Browns do play, but it might be in Cleveland this year. I don't know. When they play the Chargers, you'll hear more Cleveland fans than you're going to hear the Chargers and them.
The Chargers, to me,
I feel sorry because they got a very good football team.
They got a good team.
But they're supposed to be in Jack Murphy.
That's right.
I know it's probably not there, but Jack Murphy, that's what I know.
They demoed, but no.
Yeah, I used to love Jack Murphy.
They need to put the Chargers, we've talked about this. The NFL, to me, they still have a problem with those teams from a fan base issue.
Yeah.
They have an issue there because you don't have the Chargers they don't even belong in L.A.
Right.
They should have never been there. The fans don't. You don't think they care about the Rams? They don't even care about the Chargers on any level.
I don't care that they were there first.
No,
they were.
They were technically. They were the AFL, right?
L.A. Chargers.
They were the L.A. Chargers.
But when they went to San Diego,
they became and they should have stayed
loved
there.
Them when I was there, I said, man, they would go crazy with they San Diego Chargers. I'm telling you,
the San Diego Chargers, and that's where they belong.
And they should have worked something out and got them some kind of new stadium somewhere, suburb or somewhere, and got them in San Diego.
What I would like to happen, which probably won't, but I would like to see the guy, some multi-million guy like a Bezos or a Ballmer that owns the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see somebody swoop in and just say, okay, I've got billions of dollars. I'm building a stadium in the San Diego area, wherever we can figure it out, and put the Chargers back there. I mean, Vegas is still not the greatest Raider town because there's kind of they kind of get people. Actually, the Raiders, they don't do that well because you have all those everybody's flying in to Vegas and then go to watch their team. And sometimes those Vegas games can sound like home games for the opposing team.
At times, yeah.
That's
not as bad as the...
Not on any level the Rams and the Chargers. Chargers are by far the worst.
But I know when they played Pittsburgh out there.
Oh, my gosh.
It sounded like
that sounds like a Steeler home game.
I thought it was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's why I thought I was watching that game. I thought they was in Pittsburgh. That's how it sounded that way.
Yeah, when the Raiders play when the Raiders play the Steelers, and either one of those L.A. teams play the Steelers and Philly, I'll throw them in because that's another fan base. They travel.
Right.
You swear you're in Pittsburgh or you're in Philly because it sounds like home games for those teams.
Yep. I feel bad, especially for
like you say, the Browns are in the discussion too because all their fans will go out. You think,
they go anywhere.
Are the Browns is this a Browns home game? Because those teams just, I mean, Vegas. To me, the NFL should have probably put the Rams in Vegas, put the Raiders in L.A., and left the Chargers in San Diego.
And everything's perfect.
And I think it would have worked out better.
It would have. No question.
Because the Raiders belong in L.A.
Yeah. And really, if you're going to do something, put them back in St. Louis.
Yeah, put them in St. Louis.
They were great here.
Back after this.
Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to join the legacy? This is your chance to become part of something special with the Youngstown Patricians. Honoring the proud football tradition of the Valley, we're on the lookout for talented post-high school athletes who want to make their mark on the field. Whether you're a seasoned high school athlete, college, or former professional player, develop your skills and become part of a team that values hard work, dedication, and community spirit. Don't wait. Begin your path to the gridiron by visiting youngstownpat.com or contacting us on Facebook at the Youngstown Patricians. Be bold, be legendary, join the Youngstown Patricians today.
If you want to stay on top of your health, one simple thing to do
is take the pledge to go and get screened for the cancers that might affect you.
So stand up, cancer, and take the pledge at GetScreenedNow.org.
It only takes a minute to take care of yourself, and nothing rhymes with org.
Talk to your doctor about your health and screenings that are right for you.
Saturday morning sports page. Back. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. Talking a lot about all over the board today.
Yeah. Couldn't help it.
NBA, great.
There's so much news going on. The NFL, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to college football because, I mean, that's 4 weeks away. It's right in there. College football is on its way in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. College football's coming on.
Regular season.
And then you got some great, I mean, they're already talking about the one game, I think it's, which is probably might be one of the best college football games. I don't know, one of the best, but going to be one of the most watched is when LSU goes back to Mississippi and Lane Kiffin has to play Mississippi.
Down there
in Mississippi.
I wonder if it's at night.
It's at night game.
Oh, yeah,
I know it is. It's on ABC. I believe it was the third week in college football. They were talking about it a little bit
I'm ready for it
today.
Because I tell you, college football is like that thing that gets me warmed up and ready for the NFL. NFL's king. There's no question about that. But the excitement, just as they say back in the day, the pageantry of college football, man, can't beat it. But one thing I want them to stop, though, Pat, could they please stop week 0? Can we just stop that?
Yeah,
I don't want to hear nothing about freaking week
In
week
the game,
0. Come on.
It will be the LSU at Ole Miss game, and that's going to be on the third. It'll be on the third Saturday in September, which is September 19th. It'll be September 19th on ABC, 7:30. LSU. Lane Kiffin returns to Mississippi, who he left high and dry in the playoffs. You can't make it up. You can't get any better than that.
What's the quarterback's name?
Is it Brandon Chambliss?
Yeah, Chambliss.
He's got that eligibility for another year.
Chambliss is going to try to throw for 400.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, this is going to be.
Yeah, that's going to be.
I'm ready.
That's going to be, when you look at some great college games, like the Buckeyes in week 2 will play Texas.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a wild game.
That game would be in Texas this time.
Yeah.
Hot as ever because it's early.
Well, it will be, and I didn't know this at the time. I thought it was going to be a noon game.
They're going to put it at night.
It's going to be a night game.
Yeah, they're cool. We'll get it down to 80s.
So it'll be
high
like
80s, 87 degrees at night. Woo-wee. That's going to be some heat wave type of game there.
It's 7:30 on another ABC game, 7:30. It'll be Ohio State at Texas, and that's basically going to be on September 12th, Saturday. So,
oh man,
just when you're kind of getting into things and laying back, thinking, okay, what else?
And college football starts August.
And yes,
August what? 18th?
Actually,
I don't know. It's not way down there. I think.
Here it is. August 29th.
29th. Okay, it's down there. It's all right.
So it's down there a bit, but now the NFL will start later this year because Labor Day is late.
Yes, they don't start till the 9th, maybe.
Right.
On a
because
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday night. They start 9th, which basically means that first weekend in the NFL is going to be that second weekend.
September.
Right.
Yeah,
and then the Super Bowl will be Valentine's Day, and that's President Day weekend. So it's 14th is the Super Bowl. I thought they were saying this, and that's President's Day is the 15th. So everybody has that day off, that Monday off.
It's working out.
Right.
It's almost like a trial type
Well,
thing of what they really want anyway,
what they're
right?
doing here, the NFL, is they haven't put any dates for the following year yet.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that.
Because that's when the NFL is going to tell the players we're going to 18 games. Now, the players are going to have to negotiate. It has to be negotiated and agree upon, and the players will probably get some concessions.
Yeah.
And the owners will have to give them some concessions to get that 18th game, even though the unions come out, they don't want it. But you know and I know that after they throw money at it, and they'll probably have to give them 2 bye weeks and more roster spots, the players will probably agree to it, unlike the baseball players who we know where that's going. And that's another discussion for another day.
I was watching them play, and the game I was watching was pretty Boston Red Sox and them. But I looked at it and I said, shook my head. This is not too bad.
No.
This year I'm watching this. This is going to be gone.
You're going to be gone.
It's going to be messed. Yeah, this is going to be a mess.
It's going to be a disaster. I don't have any hope at all. I don't still think the players are green. I still don't think all the owners are for it. We talked about that at length.
Who's going to ride in on the white horse?
Right.
Somebody,
who's going to figure it out? I don't know.
It.
I don't have a lot of faith just based on history.
Yeah, I almost don't like to talk about it. It's like that's just going to see what happens because this.
No, because the players have always been very tough. Marvin Miller, maybe the greatest negotiator, union president of all time with the baseball team. What he did and how they got free agency, weaseled that in with an arbitrator, and turned that sport kind of in their eyes upside down.
Mm-hmm.
But, you had the poor Curt Flood losing his career, taking a hit. But ultimately, they got the free agency thing done in baseball. That started the whole thing for all the other sports, though.
He should have had a big check just for what he created.
Yeah, they should.
Mm-hmm.
I said it. Every player, they should have had a Curt Flood fund go to poor Curt Flood's family.
Oh, yeah.
And for what Curt Flood did for baseball and taking the hit, and he was a great player, great outfielder.
Yeah, it wasn't like he just
no. Bob Gibson said he ran down a lot of my mistakes. When I had a lot of balls hit a long way, Curt Flood ran and got him.
Mm-hmm.
No, and he goes, I don't think any other outfielder could have done that.
Yeah,
because he had
speed.
Curt Flood had unbelievable speed and was a really good player. They'll never put him in the Hall of Fame.
I remember they kept talking about Curt Flood. They said Curt Flood could have played in the NFL as a receiver.
Yeah, he could.
He was such a great athlete.
He was a great
man. Was he fast?
He was unbelievable. Like I said, Gibson said, man, he ran down a lot of fly balls that I said, they probably got, I got too much of the plate. And the guy hit it a long way, and Curt Flood ran and got it.
Mm-hmm.
And Curt Flood was a great defensive player, a pretty good offensive player. Will never get into Hall of Fame for whatever reason. I'm sure he doesn't have Hall of Fame numbers. You can argue that till the cows come home. But bottom line is he lost a lot of his career because he sat out because he didn't want to get traded.
Right.
And he argued that reserve clause, that system, saying that, we should have the right to, once our contract is up to go somewhere else. And they fought it. And owners initially won it, but then ultimately lost it in arbitration later in the decade with Andy Messersmith, I believe, and then that opened up the gates.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
that's how it worked.
That's history. But getting back with baseball, I just don't have a lot of faith that they're going to get to an agreement because these owners, if they dig their heels in and they really want a salary cap, I know these players don't. And they lose a season, I would not be surprised. They lost 94, no World Series in 94. Tony Gwynn was on his way to a 400, would have been the first player since Ted Williams to hit 400. I'm convinced he would have had he was on his way to hitting 400 that year, and the season wiped it out.
Right.
And there would have been some great things in 94. Cleveland had a great team. 94 was a great season for baseball, and they didn't care.
And that's the bottom line.
Where at least I give the owners, at least the football players, They have
Yeah.
figured it out, and so is NBA smart. And those players figured it out too.
Yep.
We never lost. I don't think they've ever. I don't believe they've ever lost a season in the NBA.
No.
Football came close in '82 when they had the replacement games, but then in '87 they had football had the replacement players in place. In '87, when players went out on strike. Scary, but everybody got watching replacement games, and they were pretty good games.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't know who the hell was playing, you didn't care. They were pretty good games.
Yeah, and that's the thing that kept everything going. So, so it's just.
But
very
now
good.
you have way too much money.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
I mean, you have I'm the only thing that with football or with baseball, the money is unbelievable, and they're crazy. I mean, baseball figures something out. I don't know but you can't lose games. These owners have way too much money. These teams are worth so much money.
Yeah.
And what they make is unbelievable in the TV contracts.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that there's not going to be a detriment type situation happen. But, got to hope for the best, I guess, but I just don't see it.
I don't see it.
Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good to me.
We have NFL. What I want to do, we talked about this. Let's look at these divisions. Because NFL, I think, this year, just about like every year, but when you start breaking these divisions down and the teams and how they map out, I mean, I like, there was a great article in NFL.com this morning. I was pulling it up and I was kind of like going, the writer did a great job. Nick Shook he ranked all 8 NFL divisions this year going into the season. And he's got the NFC North being the number 1 division. Obviously, you have the Bears, you have Green Bay, Packers, then you have Minnesota and Detroit. And when we looked at it last, I thought was interesting, when you looked at the odds to win the NFC North, which I think this is interesting because I thought Detroit is favored to win the division. Green Bay is number 2. And it kind of gives you an idea, like Detroit's a plus 180, Green Bay's plus 215, then the Bears are 305. Okay. And then the Minnesota drops off a little bit. They're plus 510. Now, the over-under in the division, I think, is real interesting because they have the Bears, they have Detroit 10.5, Packers 10.5, the Bears 9.5, and then the Vikings 8.5. So even though that like the odds, but when you look at their over/under totals,
close.
I mean, you got Detroit and Green Bay tied at 10.5 for over/under. Bears are a game behind them.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota,
It's
you
two
would think,
behind.
they're only 2 games behind Detroit.
Right.
And 1 game
that's how
behind. I mean, that's how tight.
I know. That's why it's such a great division. I think it's a great division, and we are looking at how Caleb Williams ascended and
Right.
Chicago looked good. But this is the thing I'm thinking about Chicago. I do believe their offense is better. Their defense was decent, but what it was is they turned people over last year. Yeah. And turnovers varies because there's a lot of luck involved in that. I hate to say it, but
No, there it is.
But it's a lot of luck
It
involved in
is.
turning the ball. And I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that as a defensive person.
Yep.
You got to make things happen, but it's hard to keep that type of momentum. So I don't think they're gonna be there just yet. I think it's Detroit, but I really believe if our guy Kyler Murray is the starter and has the kind of season he's done had in Arizona with that offensive firepower, they could win the division. It'd be a shock. But when you got a defensive coordinator and Brian Flores
good
who
coordinator.
just knows how to make defenses work, and then that offense be on fire, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen there.
He knows how to crank up the defenses,
Yeah, I know.
man.
That's why I think that is a scary team.
They're hitters too.
Yes.
They punish people. That defense is tough.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They got a very good opportunity to win in that division. I know it's Green Bay, Detroit when you look at it, but I am not counting the Vikings out.
I'm not either.
At all. I'm not counting them out.
I know they're finished.
It's big on the quarterback position. It's got to be somebody. Right. They got to produce from that position.
That's going to be their. I mean, we all know in the NFL you need the quarterback to win or lose, but you need the quarterback.
Yeah, you need
that. Is going to be the question in Minnesota. Who gets the job? Is it Murray or J.J. McCarthy or one of those two?
Right.
And then can they win?
Yeah.
We think it's going to be Kyler Murray. Can Murray win with the Viking offense? Can he basically be the guy? And if he can play, we could see. But he has played that. He can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have seen where Murray can make things happen. A little unorthodox, but if they can manage to get wins under their belt, they have a great defense, as you said.
Yep. And there's no doubt that the skill. Now, he has some good receivers out in Arizona, but they're not to the level of Justin Jefferson and their tight end. They got a good tight end. Addison, Jordan Addison. Come on. They got some guys out there to play.
Right. When you have Justin Jefferson and Addison as your wideouts.
Not a bad tight end either. And what's his name from another Iowa guy. But, their tight end is good. They got it. I can't say backup because they play a lot of two tight end offense. Their other tight end is also good. This is a team that could be very, very dangerous. Really could be.
And they're supposed to finish last in the division. But if you look at their 8.5 over under and they're in last place. What does that tell you? And you got Green Bay, Detroit at 10.5, and then Chicago's 9.5.
Right.
So they're just like
that's
a tight compression there.
Yeah.
With 4 teams.
It is
literally on top of one another. And let's face it, you and I know that's what makes the NFL great is there's not a big variance in these teams.
Right.
There's more of a variance in college football because there's more teams and more players.
Right.
But when you're having the elite teams and the elite players, an injury, a bad call, and these games
they can flip just like that.
They can flip.
Yep.
Very easy.
Yeah, very. That division.
And that's why that division, to me, is a total crapshoot because you just don't. And you always have the team that comes out of nowhere plays good. Like Minnesota, if Murray is successful, which he could be with that offense and the defense, they could win that division. I wouldn't be shocked. No. And there's not a big variance if you look at Vegas and the numbers as far as when you're looking at over and under.
So when you look at that,
it's basically 2 games.
That's it. And how many games can be what you just said?
Right.
A turnover, a bad call.
Right.
Any of that can happen.
An
injury.
Flip a
game. Injury. Flips the game just like that. So they can easily win that division. That's why that's an interesting division to me.
That's really what I think that
is really good.
Like we talked a lot about other divisions, and I think that may be. But I have to. When you look at we'll get as we kind of motor through this, but you have the NFC North as being the number 1 division, and then ultimately I think they had the NFC West being number 2.
Okay.
And that's got the Rams, the Seahawks, the defending champ, the Niners, and the Cardinals.
Right.
Now people say, the Cardinals will just be, they won't. I have to look their over on. But the point is, everybody's dismissing the Cardinals as being a ugly afterthought, but that's the kind of team that could create problems for those with other teams in that division.
Yep.
Because they're not as everyone's blowing them off as they're not going to be any good.
Right.
And then ultimately
they could be.
They could pull a couple upsets.
And I've been trying to watch what they're doing.
And
like
Carson Beck is, you got Jacoby Brissett, the starter, but you can't rule out Carson Beck maybe taking that from him depending on what he does. And that, to me, is a very interesting story.
Right.
Because I think the Cardinals are is fascinating. I know they're Arizona and everybody kicks them, they're not any good. They get they stink, But I think this year they could be a very interesting team to watch.
Yep.
If you're looking at and they have a pretty solid roster. They got good
they
wideouts.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as what people.
If that offensive line can be solidified.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been watching it, them picking up these guys. If they get it and be solid, they're going to be, and they can run the ball, and then you got a dynamic, I know he's a rookie, but I don't care. That's a dynamic player in Jeremiah Love. And if you can get him rolling with that receiving core and good quarterback play, there could be a problem.
Well, and here's what the article writes. That Arizona has a trio of offensive weapons that other clubs might envy. Yeah. Tight end Trey McBride.
One of the best in the league.
Marvin Harris looked really good last year.
Yeah, he's coming. He's
starting to come into his own. And now you got Jeremiah Love on that team.
Right.
And so when you look at one of the most very explosive, running back, but then he can catch the ball.
That's right.
So you get these three guys out there. If they can coordinate it, this team could be dangerous.
And if you got them up, when you look at it, we talk about Harrison, but their most dynamic receiver last year was Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the guy that led them in everything. And he can make big plays happen.
Big play.
Harrison, they said, it seemed like he had lost some confidence. He started to get it.
He started getting it as the season went on.
Get that confidence he had at Ohio State backing him. With that Arizona.
Yeah, because he's got the talent.
Right. The talent is there.
He's
no
there.
Question.
He's just got to develop
Got to develop, get it. Now, so if they can get that and get Wilson to still play the same way, McBride is an all-pro. He's probably in the top 4 tight ends in the NFL. You get them guys together and you just get good quarterback play and good line play, yeah. San Francisco, they will. Well, see, those teams is not dumb, though, because they don't take Arizona lightly because they have – when they had done that in the past, the Rams in in San Fran, they have been beaten by the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So they can't take them lightly. You got to take them as a hard team to beat.
And they do have, according, in this great article that was written by, get his name, Nick Shook.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about that the defense Cardinals, they do have some pieces there that could ultimately, impact and help the team. He says it's kind of a work in progress, but if they could keep Will Nolan, the defensive tackle, healthy, he says he's an animal, but he needs to stay healthy.
And
Sweat,
they got right.
What's that?
They got Sweat, right?
Yeah. The road. And they've got a second rounder in Will Johnson, who's a talented cover man.
Oh yeah, from Michigan, right?
From Michigan, who has dealt with some injuries at his time at Michigan, but he's pretty solid. So this could be an interesting team from an aspect of don't count them out. They're not going to be competitive.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're going to be, like you said, you better keep their eyes on it. The coaches this year they got a new coach, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to think, who is it?
Yeah, we'll have to, yeah.
That was one of our musical coaches.
Yeah, he was, right.
They got hammered away.
Yeah. We'll look it up because I know, they've got the new coach there. Now, they've got, if you keep this divisioning, they've got, the Rams are favored to win this division. Let's look at the NFC West. Yeah, we'll dig up that error. Is it not? I'm not going to say who their new coach is. We'll have to look that up because again, it's always hard with the NFL. The coaching carousel goes round and round and round.
Yes, it does.
We should probably know the coaches off the top of our head, but in the NFL, it's kind of hard to keep track. But the Rams are favored to win the division at plus 100. Mm-hmm. Then they've got the Seattle Seahawks plus 205 and San Francisco right behind them at plus 203. Now, the Cardinals are obviously no chance, and you know where. They're plus 10,000. So no one's giving them a chance to win, and that's probably no problem with that. But they can be a kind of team could upset and win games and just be like
a nuisance.
They could be a nuisance, but if they win 6 or 7 games, they could be, they would drive everybody crazy.
Yeah, and the coach is Mike LaFleur, so that's.
Oh, that's right. We should have known that.
His brother, from the Packers coach, head coach. That's his brother. It's in Arizona.
That's it.
So he has a thing about offense. He's another guy from our guy from the Rams, the coaching tree. So it's he's a Shanahan guy. All those guys.
Here's our over/under for these teams.
In this the Ram division.
The Rams favored to win are 11.5 over/under. The Seahawks are 10.5. Niners are 9.5. Arizona drops to 3.5. Would I take Arizona over 3.5? I think I might. Saturday morning, we'll wrap. We got a lot to get. Another hour. Wrap it up. Back after this.
The year was 1907. The Cubs won the World Series and the Ford Model R hit the assembly line. While here in Ohio, school administrators came together to form the Ohio High School Athletic Association. One thing that hasn't changed since 1907 is the dedication of the OHSAA to education-based athletics in Ohio. School sports teach responsibility, sportsmanship, and life lessons that stay with students long after their playing days are over. The OHSAA seeks to prepare students not for the next level of sport.
Someone's got to set the tone out there, boys. Someone's got to set it.
The station that sets the tone for Youngstown Phantoms hockey is Western Reserve Radio. WRDB, The Scourge.
Are you ready to hit the gridiron and make your mark? The Cleveland Cobras are recruiting players and coaches for the upcoming Premier Amateur Football League season. We're looking for passion, grit, and the relentless drive to win. Whether you're a seasoned vet or hungry rookie, your shot starts now. Join a brotherhood, build a legacy, strike with the Cobras. Follow us on Facebook at Cleveland Cobras Football, or for league information, visit PAFLfootball.com to get started today. Team, pride, Cobras.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
The Village Tavern's been a beloved local landmark in Hubbard, Ohio for nearly a century, and now it's better than ever. Recently renovated and still serving up the same warm hospitality, the Village Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and a laid-back atmosphere. Whether you're stopping in for dinner, catching up with friends, or just looking to relax, you'll enjoy a full menu of American favorites, rotating drink specials, and friendly service that makes every visit memorable. Be sure to visit the Village Tavern at 746 North Main Street in Hubbard, right next to Repair That Glass. To learn more, go to villagetavern3.com.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Ohio. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Saturday morning sports page. We're back. Hour number 3 in the books. Well, we got hour number 3 to do. It's not in the books.
I love
We got the Hall of Fame Gessler in here, getting everybody wound up.
It's not going. It's what you said. It's
Well, he carried away with the way it used to be. Enough with that. It was always better when. Yeah, it was always better.
It's bad.
I still
because he didn't say he hasn't said one thing. Going to the Sixers, not one thing.
No. Well, they said he was supposed to go to the Heat. They had that press release that came out.
Yeah.
He was going to go to the Heat. Oops. I never thought he was going there.
No, he just said he would. He thought it would be very.
But I don't think
to play with Giannis. You know, he really.
Yeah, but I don't think it was going to make that team. That team right now is not constructed right. LeBron there would have. That team to me just with Giannis there. He's a question mark because of his health. Let's call it for what it is. He's got a big contract. He's like Embiid, kind of. Like you got those big guys that were making a boatload of money and they're hurt a lot. And I don't know. Again, I'm not 100% sure he would fit in with that Miami team. He fits in better with the Sixers anyway. And to be honest with you, let's call it for what it is. The Sixers are a better team now than Miami. Just take LeBron out of the formula. The Sixers are better still with Jaylen Brown and Tyrese than the Miami is.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know all their core. Now, I heard that they were getting rid of, and I don't know why they would do that, Tyler Hero.
Yeah, they traded him.
They traded him, right?
He's traded. He's
now,
gone.
See, that right there disturbed me because that's a bucket waiting to happen. And so,
but you traded him for Giannis.
Right, he was part of that trade.
But that's the problem. Like with LeBron, the Sixers didn't give anything up for him. They didn't have to trade anybody. They got him handed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Sixers, to me, with Jaylen Brown, thank you, Boston Celtics, is making the Sixers really a better team. I could look this back up. I think the Sixers before LeBron were still a higher chance than the Miami Heat.
Yeah. Of getting to the championship?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so now you have LeBron, and obviously that just puts the Sixers right in the mix now they're tied with the Knicks to win the conference.
Yeah.
And the OK City Thunder and Spurs are tied to win the title. Then the Knicks are third, tied with Philly to win the title. But there's a gap there between. It's clearly favored. OK City and Spurs are clearly favored to win the title. Then the Knicks, but there's a big gap in there. I think it was 1,000 and 250, then it dropped to like 1,000.
Right.
So I personally thought that, to me, that, 270, 900, 900. That's OK City and Spurs are tied at 270, plus 270 to win the title. The Knicks and the 76ers are now plus 900. They're tied for third to win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the Thunder and Spurs are favored to win the title.
Right.
But they'll have to play one another again,
yep,
as the Knicks and the Sixers will, if they make it to the conference finals, and you never know anymore.
And I was thinking about even what they had just said when they sit here talking about players jumping from team to team. He really didn't jump. He was not brought back by the Lakers, which made him become a free agent in LeBron. He didn't jump from any team to team.
No.
He had to go to a
They
somewhere.
didn't want him.
Right. They didn't want
No.
to part. They
They-
wanted to start a new era.
They made a decision.
Right. So he had to jump a
He
team
wanted to
if he wanted
play for the Lakers. Let's call it because he had the family there. I read an article. He had to go to his family to get approval to go to the 76ers.
Yes.
His wife and 3 children needed to approve it in this article.
Yep.
I get it.
That's what he said on the boardroom.
Yep.
It was really if they felt that I could play and wanted to play, but they wanted to see if that would be good to go there.
Right.
And that's where they said, yeah, go there.
And they said go there, but they approved it.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Well, he said one of the things that came that he looked at. He did look at Miami, but his wife said, "What could be better than that 4 years you were in Miami?"
And she's 100% right.
She said that was just something that was,
Right.
never thought to
Well,
happen.
he's been there and done it.
He done did
too.
it. Cleveland, you did what you needed to do, get them a championship.
Right.
So, why would you go there?
Right.
So the intriguing parts were Golden State, Philly.
And Philadelphia hasn't won a title in 43 years, and now you could be the savior to win them a title.
There you go.
That's what he was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
He would have probably got rumor had the Knicks not won the title, he
Yeah.
would have gone there.
Right, because you try, just like I said, Denzel said,
wanted to
build your own
legacy.
Don't worry about going after Jordan.
Right.
And if championships are the baseline of it, then Bill Russell's the GOAT.
Yep, let's go.
11 of them in 13 years.
Saturday Morning Sports Page, what's up?
Hey, good morning, Pat and Dave. I just had a quick question about whose team is it going to be really now with LeBron? Is it going to be LeBron's?
Oh, good question.
Then Brown or Joe Allen's?
That's a great
Embiid.
question.
You know who I think is eventually is going to be? It's going to be Tyrese Maxey. He's your guy that's always healthy and runs that get that engine running.
Good question.
But I still think it's right now it will be with Embiid. He's a big man.
I would think it's probably more, but it's a close call between him. I don't think it's LeBron's team, and I don't think LeBron cares if it's his team or not. But I think it's probably either Maxey or Embiid. Probably Embiid because he's been there longer. He's the older veteran. But Dave, I think I agree with Dave. I think it'll be Maxey's team future, but I think it's still Embiid's team. And I don't think LeBron really cares about that so much because he's looking to win a title.
Yeah, and he showed that playing with.
It might be Jaylen Brown's team.
Jaylen Brown cares, though.
What's that?
I think Jaylen Brown cares about it.
Oh, I think, you're right. And you know what? I was just going to think that. I was thinking, you know what? It might end up being Jaylen Brown's team when this year as the team evolves because he may be their best player. Embiid's going to have to be just healthy enough to get him in the playoffs. And I think you're right. I think it could ultimately evolve to Jaylen Brown's team and Maxey being a close second.
Well, I know when they play the Celtics, it will be Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it's going to be probably
not gonna like this. I like it.
Yeah. No, I
you said you don't know if he'll like it?
I don't think he's going to like it.
No, who's that?
Embiid.
I don't know. I don't.
If it's Brown.
I don't know if those guys got that type of makeup of like, if it's not my team, I'm upset.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I've never seen that with Embiid, even with his injuries and stuff like that. When he came back and they were still going Maxey mainly.
Yeah.
I'd never seen him mope about get the ball down to me. Nothing. They're winning, and that's all it seemed like he cared about. They're winning, and that might come from being coached at Kansas. I hate to say, but Coach Self over there, that's the type of message he always teaches.
Yeah.
Team first. So, that may not come from Embiid, that type of attitude.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if Embiid cares.
Yeah, Bill Self, that's what he coaches as a head coach in college.
I tell you one thing, winning cures everything.
That's right.
If they're rolling and they're winning and they look good and they're playing well together. I think it's going to take them a few games. I think it's going to take them a month to figure it out because you really have on paper. I think you have one of the best. You might have one of the best starting fives on paper. You can argue it, but I think with Jaylen Brown on that team now, when you throw LeBron in, and you've seen Maxey play, and then I'm just shocked because I still blame the Celtics because the Celtics are going to basically, if the Philadelphia 76ers win a title, they should send the Boston Celtics a thank you card for giving us Jaylen Brown.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was an arrogant move like I said,
I still can't get my hands why you would trade the MVP of the NBA title that you won and you gave him. I'm sorry. I like what's his name?
Well, but there's no comparison.
No.
There's no comparison.
No comparison. You don't give your best, one of your best, if not, you could argue who's the best player on Boston. It was Brown or Tatum. You don't give your best player to your opponent in your division. I don't care.
Not when they already got ammunition and Embiid and
now you got LeBron in the mix. Yeah,
and Edgecombe is a very good player as a rookie. He just kept getting better and better.
Right.
So
I like Philadelphia. I'm a Knicks fan, but I have to admit, if you tell me if you're a betting man, I'd put money on Philly to at least win the East, if not win the title.
Yeah.
With this team,
it definitely can.
And remember, this team didn't have LeBron or Jaylen Brown on it. Now that you've added it to this team,
and I know a lot of people are looking for fireworks. When I say fireworks, I'm talking about like inward fireworks on this team. They're looking for some, people argue, people fuss about stuff. I don't see it. That's the thing they thought was going to happen in Miami too, between Wade, Bosh.
No.
But it didn't happen because certain guys have just got a certain makeup about themselves. They didn't know how to work those things out and go through it. And that's what happened in Miami. They were able to play together no matter what. Because Bosh was a great player in Toronto. A great player. Unstoppable type guy. So he changed his game a lot just for that so they could play together. And what LeBron showed me last year, to play with Luka, that could be tough to play with a guy that's that ball dominant and is shooting almost every time. But he does give up the ball when he needs to. But he was able to play with that.
Yeah.
So if you could play with him and do that and have no issues, then I think you could do it another one also.
Okay. Thanks for the call.
Good call too.
Yeah. Excellent call.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good thought when you think about it. But that's something they shouldn't really, whose team is it? All is this is our team.
I think it really matters. And I know the press plays that.
Well, they're going to
clip.
Yeah, they're going to.
Because they'll try to get something going.
Yeah, well, you got to sell tickets, as they say.
But I think when you break down, when you look at the 76ers this year, they're going to have to figure out what rotation works. How well do these guys play? You've got great talent. You've got on paper. I still think, one of the best teams in the NBA. Now that you have, again, I keep throwing that they've got Brown on that team. I still shaking my head how the Celtics gave him away. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear what they said. I know what they were trying to say. Well, we don't want that much money in the position. Tatum and Brown are kind of the same player. We have $120 million in the same position, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Save it.
Yeah,
just save that.
Because you went out of the way to put that way.
Right. You signed these guys up. You knew you had two great great players. You had to give them the money. And then to turn around and just hand Jaylen Brown to your division rival. And, oh, gee whiz, now you've just opened up the door. And let me ask you something, Dave Clark. If Philadelphia doesn't have Jaylen Brown, I don't know if LeBron signs with them.
No, I
don't think he does.
No, because, one thing about these players, they forge friendships during the time. And I know they got a little bit of friendship anyway. And just the intrigueness of playing on the same team is always going to be there. But no, I don't think so. I think he's still, if Jaylen Brown was not there, I think he's still trying to make a decision where he go. That might have made him lean towards going back to Cleveland and finish his career, or if they can some kind of way work out going to Golden State, and I mean, I just don't, I never understand the argument of he always want to go with great players. That's what people want to. That's where they want to play with great players. That's what they want to do.
I mean, I
don't care what they say.
I don't
anybody
get
say.
that.
Jordan even said in the interview before. No, he didn't talk about it. He said one thing he loved on the Dream Team, playing with great players like that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to worry about is the seventh guy, the ninth guy on the bench that we may need, is he focused? He didn't have to worry about it because he's playing with great players that know how to play basketball at a certain level. So why wouldn't you want to play with great players?
People keep forgetting that Jordan, his first few years in the league, he had trouble winning. The team, he was a great player, but the team couldn't win until they got Pippen.
Right.
And that was
Pippen and Grant.
And Grant.
Yeah, because they don't a lot of times don't add him in. But
a good point.
Yeah. Yeah,
you got Pippen and Grant.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started to win titles. Yeah. You had Bill Cartwright and Bill Wennington, but you really, when you got Horace Grant, and you had Pippen, and you got those guys, that's when you started to win. And when you look back, that to me, that Chicago Bull GM. Jerry Krause, who everybody hated, but he built that team. He was responsible for putting that team together.
Right.
Even though, and I know you saw that Jordan piece, how everybody was down on that poor guy and they ran him, and what he did. But like I always laugh is because I said he was working for Reinsdorf. Who the heck do you think was telling Krause what to do? Reinsdorf.
Right.
So he was taking the hits for what Reinsdorf wanted to do. And Reinsdorf was like, Krause is he's this, he's that. But he does what I tell him to do. And Reinsdorf didn't take the hits. It was all Jerry Krause.
Yeah, no.
But Krause was the one that got Pippen. He got Kukoc. He got Rodman. Yeah. He built that team.
Yeah. I mean, he's the one that came out with the three-headed center situation when he got Wennington. I forgot where he brought him from. He could have been drafted, but I don't think so. I thought he brought him in. He brought Bill Cartwright, and he drafted Luke Longley. So all three of them played significant minutes during those runs. They were interchangeable. They all did different things. So they were real interchangeable.
He actually this is an interesting with Wennington. You brought this up. This also goes to how smart Jerry Krause was. Wennington was with the Dallas Mavericks for 6 years, 1985 to 90. He went to St. John's.
That I remember.
Then he went with the Sacramento Kings for 1990 and 91. Then, from 91 to 93, he was with Virtuos Bologna. Was it Bologna? Overseas. From 91 to 93. Jerry Krause evidently watched him and knew of him because he signed him in 93. That goes to your point about getting the kind of that three-headed monster, but he ended up getting him from 93 to 99. He was with the basically Bulls. And then he only played a year after that with the Sacramento Kings, 99 to 2000. But the whole point of it is, that's what cracks me up with Jerry Krause is a great GM to me. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he should be, because he was really behind
a lot
constructing these Chicago Bull teams that won 6 titles.
Right.
But he gets basically berated and criticized beyond belief because for whatever reason, but you can't take away with the fact that of what he did as far as putting these great teams together. He was the construct of doing this, and yet when you see the piece, all the players hate him, and he was almost like the doormat.
Yeah.
No respect. But the reality is, if they don't have him as GM, I don't think they win all those titles because he got Rodman, he picked up Wennington, and he picked up Kerr, and he picked up all those pieces of these guys that nobody would even think twice. Like Bill Wennington was playing overseas.
Yeah. Well, he got a guy that was playing in it used to be a league called, was it the UBL or what? Not the CBA because that was CBA. They used to have
the old CBA.
Mm-hmm. But this guy played for the UBL and something else. Was Craig Hodges?
Yeah, Hodges, who could shoot. Right,
yeah,
he was a shooter,
and they needed more shooting.
Right,
and it was like, oh, they're going to get this guy. No, they go and get Craig Hodges and bring him in there. And we seen what kind of this is a guy. Craig Hodges won the 3-point contest without even being attached to a team. At that time, he wasn't even with the Chicago Bulls, and he won the 3-point contest,
88-92.
So that's just a guy that did a great job. But he was definitely, oh man, he was a doormat.
Yeah.
But it was Reinsdorf doing a lot of the different demonizing things behind closed doors, and everything went to Krause.
Oh, yeah. He was the guy. Krause was the one. He was the GM from 1985 to 2003. So he built those teams.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out. He hired Phil Jackson. He got Dennis Rodman.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great eye for talent. He always had a strained relationship with Jordan and many other players, as well as the media. He did make the Hall of Fame in 2017
he did. Okay.
after his death. They did put him in. Why they couldn't put him in before that, that's another story. But the whole point of it is they finally recognized this guy as being really a great GM.
Yeah. And that's something, because I was wondering, was he in the Hall of Fame? It is. I mean, it's good that he's in there. Unfortunately, it's after his death. But sometimes I wonder did they do that to preserve his dignity? Because would he been, let's say he would have been selected while he's living, what would the reception be? What would I don't just wonder, because.
Yeah, you do wonder.
It could have been a terrible moment because people in today's climate, hate to say, are just typically kind of mean and some of the things and non-caring about other people. So you hate to wonder what that might have been. So,
but he was a great GM.
But he did. He put those teams together. And when you go and get a Weddington from overseas, you go and get a Craig Hodges who's playing a low-type basketball league and say, oh, that guy can shoot the lights out.
You found this guy. I mean, you just find the players and the pieces he put together, and everything worked.
Mm-hmm.
And he got Phil Jackson to coach the team.
Yep.
He had to fire Doug Collins, but Collins wasn't the right coach for them at the time.
Right.
And he got in, but Jackson told Michael, you can't be the guy scoring all the points. We won't win. You need to distribute the ball, and we need an offense, that triangle offense.
Right. And he did tell him, hey, you'll be the
focal
hub
point,
of it.
But you still need to facilitate the ball, so we get the other Pippen and even and Wennington and all the other players involved, because you can't do it by yourself. You've been trying to do it by yourself all these years. You can't do it.
No, that's why I said it.
And that's...
people think, they say, hey, he would never leave. But I remember that's after that 7th season, just like anybody else, he was ready to get out of there and go somewhere else. And it didn't happen because they were able to get Pippen at that time. They might even got Grant first or something. But I know that's when they started to upgrade their team. Same thing happened with Kobe when he was thinking of, I'm out. And they went on and got Gasol, because if you remember, after him and Shaq, it was a possibility he was going to leave the Lakers. Right. But then they went and got Paul Gasol. And he screamed. He wanted Paul Gasol, and they went and got him. So that's why I say great players, if people don't think they demand other great players, they do. Now, I never heard Jordan say outright, hey, I want so-and-so, so-and-so. But he wanted players. He wanted great players. That's what he said. He loved playing for the Dream Team because he never had to look down the bench and say, is that guy ready?
No.
He knew everybody else on that team is ready. So that's why, and he always wanted veteran players.
Yeah, he did.
Too. And that's how they say LeBron, he want veteran guys because
you got Kevin Love. Remember they had drafted Wiggins, and Wiggins was a good talent, but he wanted Kevin Love because he wanted the veteran.
Right.
He was right.
And that's, you want to win. You want to win. You want to have an opportunity to win. So you can't be waiting until this guy on potential get to where he need to be when you have an opportunity or a team that's good enough to win
right now.
So why would you be waiting?
Right.
But the best, like I said, the best advice when I watched that boardroom program that he got from Denzel Washington was one of the best advice you can get. You don't worry about none of that other stuff. You don't worry about what people say. You go and make your legacy and what you feel for yourself. And that's when I seen that and heard that, I had a different perspective on him than I previously had. Right. Because that's somebody that's listening, somebody that they ain't even in basketball, but it's a person with some knowledgeable and giving you some knowledge,
right?
Some wisdom, and that's what you got to do. Can't worry about. Doesn't make sense because if you're trying to win as many titles, and if the jargon is titles, then Bill Russell is the GOAT.
Yes.
At 11 out of 13 years.
Well, he's
and he was a vocal point. Believe me,
he was, and I mean he's the reason why great players like Jerry West and Will Chamberlain
didn't win it.
Did not win.
Absolutely.
And the team. Russell had great players around him. He was the facilitator and he was the leader, but he also had great players. Like he had Casey Jones and Sam Jones. He had Havlicek. He had these guys. I mean, Havlicek was off the bench because Heinsohn was, the starter. Then Heinsohn retired. Havlicek took over the starting. But you had these. Satch Sanders was a shutdown defensive player.
Yeah.
And then you rotated Larry Siegfried in, and you had a great coach in Red Auerbach. Auerbach was a great coach. He knew how to relate to players.
Right.
But Russell was a great leader, and he was the team captain, and he was the guy. But the other end of it's a team sport. People forget that because they like to individualize the sport, and it's not an individual sport. But the thing that Chamberlain kept running into was them.
Yeah, couldn't get past them.
You couldn't get past that team.
Right. That is.
We'll look at some more football. We always, deviate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we go from everywhere.
All over.
Golf is next.
We'll be back after a quick timeout. Wrap it up. Saturday Morning Sports Page.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If I could be you.
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Nina's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8500. 832.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they have earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare advocacy, benefits support, and career assistance.
For more information, call 1-800-424-8200 or visit pva.org. A public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Saturday Morning Sports page back. Dave Clark, what are you telling me? You're reading Twitter and they're already talking about firing Todd Monken.
Yeah.
Guy hasn't coached a game yet.
Browns projected to fire Todd Monken and replace him with Super Bowl type head coach. Yeah, everybody's doing that, right? All teams do that.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't
Anyway.
say anything. They said because his statement was correct when he said people asked him about trading, Myles Garrett. And he said he's a transitional player. I mean, he's probably one of the best defensive player ever. He said, but this team has to be revamped and ready.
Yes, me.
And he feel it's unfair to Myles Garrett to be here and say, hey, in 3 years we're up to snuff. He said he'd be
retired.
Yeah, or close to retirement at that time. So to allow him to go somewhere else, but allow us to get draft picks and other valuable things.
And they got that Verse as a good player.
That's what he said. And now they're looking to get, which I think would be a good pickup if they get him, Van Noy,
right?
Who played with Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, Kyle Van Noy. That'd be a great job. I mean, they got edge rush, but to be able to rotate like that and keep everybody fresh and take some of that pressure off of Verse, too, would make them even better. Their defense, when they started rattling off the defense the other day when I watched that defense still should be just as good as it has been. Now, the key is let's see how this defensive coordinator run his things compared to what Schwartz did. Schwartz, we know Schwartz was a freaking genius as that defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
There's no
the
doubt.
one they lost, yeah.
But the guy that took over, I forgot where he came. Did he come from Atlanta or somewhere, wherever he came? But he worked with Schwartz. They worked together at Philly and somewhere else. Yeah, so they know a lot of the same concepts. So he's going to have a little bit of Schwartz-type flavor. Let's see if everything goes according to plan, because they definitely got some guys, and they snuck other draft picks in there that got by other teams. Like the linebacker out of Alabama, I think they got in the 6th round. He's a guy that probably will make the team. And he'll be that guy that's like Bush, who really, really showed himself, with the Browns last year. He played really good. And I don't know where he went to, but he left in free agency. I know that.
The next, getting back to where we were, the next division is considered the 3rd toughest division.
Mm-hmm.
Was the AFC West.
Okay.
And right now, if you're a betting person, the Kansas City Chiefs are still favored to win that division at plus 160. The Chargers are plus 190 to finish second. Denver is right up there at plus 225. Then it drops off, obviously, big time to the Vegas Raiders are plus 2,000.
Mm-hmm. Similar, just like, who was it, Arizona?
Yeah.
Same way.
Same way.
Same type
where
of
you have 3 teams.
They got KC going right back, huh?
Right. They got KC because Mahomes, I guess, is doing real well with the rehab and
everything. He's able to come to camp now.
I think he's going to be ready to
go. Yeah, they cleared him.
They cleared him.
Full camp. He can go.
So I think he's going to be ready to play.
Yeah.
week one.
I,
So
what they got to have is these rookies.
Right.
Got to step up. They lost both of their corners.
Right.
They're at the Rams now, both of them.
Both went to the Rams because the Rams needed, obviously,
Yeah, they
the
got
help.
McDuffie and
Yep.
the other one, Watson.
Yep.
Both starting corners of Kansas City are in Ramland.
Yep.
So I don't know if they can be the winners of the division just on him coming back. I know Mahomes is great. He's great. There's no doubt about it. But they're going to have to play to a certain level to get there because I think Denver's defense hasn't really fell off nowhere. So they're going to be there. If Bo Nix takes the next step, again, he looked good anyway. If he take another step, do you think Kansas City beats them? And then let's look at the Chargers. The Chargers
They had all the injuries last year to the offensive line.
Terrible. Both all-pro tackles.
Gone.
And then this inside, they was changing centers and everything else all season. And do you know what their record was in the division? 5-1.
5-1.
The only one lost one game within their division with that terrible offensive line. Herbert running for his life.
Yeah, Herbert.
They couldn't even run the ball like they thought they would be able to with Hampton. Now you get these guys. They're back and healthy. How good are they going to be? That's what I'm wondering. Is Harbaugh could really have his team at some kind of level? I mean, only negative I got is they play in L.A. where they shouldn't. But the Chargers, that's the only thing I say. But that team,
because that's the old problem is they don't have a home field advantage at all.
That's the thing.
That's
that
the
hurts
sad
them.
part of it.
That hurts them because if you can win all those games, I think they won 11 last year. With all those injuries, you won 11 games with all those injuries.
Yeah, he made the playoffs. I mean, with no offensive, with very,
limited. I mean, limited stuff to do. And Herbert was running for his life. So it just makes me wonder, could they win the division? It's a good
well, and that's
opportunity.
the thing when you look at it, and when you look at the odds, you can't rule it out. I mean, when you look at that division, and you look at the AFC West, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos are pretty much on top of one another. So you could make the argument that either one of those teams can win the division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I'm just thinking they went 5-1 in their division. Now, true, the Raiders and the Chiefs were out of the playoff race last year. So it's just Denver and the Chargers, but my goodness.
Now, and here, what I like is I like the odds, but then I like looking at over-unders. And it looks like, they don't give me. They have the over-under. Right now, Kansas City's over-under is 10.5.
Okay.
The Broncos is 9.5. They don't give me for some reason, I don't know how they do this, but they didn't give the Charger over-under. They just give me the odds, but I bet you their over-under is basically got to be probably like 9, also 9.5. I mean,
and if it's not, it's only going to go down 1, 8.5. But that would be the Chargers at 8.5. Even 9.5 is oof. But I mean, it's a new season. I can see them saying, "Hey, you went 5-1. Now we got a Chiefs team that is better." But remember, the Chargers beat the Chiefs like in the third game of the season, early in the season, fourth game somewhere in there when the Chiefs were healthy. So, we can't say, well, they just beat them because the Chiefs were banged up and this, that, and the other. They beat them when they were relevant.
Yeah, I mean,
so
when you look at the teams, when you break those down and you look at those teams the way they're structured, you got to figure that the Chargers and the Broncos and the Chiefs in that division are pretty much a coin flip as of who can win it.
Right.
And so there's not a big difference. Obviously, the Raiders are the fall off. It's a lot like the West, NFC West, where you have the Rams, the Seahawks, and 49ers tight, and then you have the Cardinals being, back. And that mirrors the AFC West and the NFC West mirror one another.
Same way.
Because it's like you've got three teams where you can make an argument that can win that division. Like nobody's really going to say there's a big variance in those three teams.
Yep. And those teams like Arizona and the Raiders, they could, if they use the right approach, they could use that to their advantage.
Right.
Because nobody's paying them no attention. And this allows them to grow into the team. They got good young talent. They did put some players in there, but they're young. They're young and inexperienced. So we got to see as they build and what happens going forward.
Yeah, like I said, I look at this and I'm always kind of enamored. I like the over-under thing, but when you look at the odds, you could see that there's not a big variance with these teams at all. I mean, those three teams in the AFC West and the NFC West are a coin flip in my eyes to win the division. An injury, a bad play, a bad call can make a difference between a team winning a division and losing. And the Rams could lose by a game, or the Seahawks could win it, or even the Niners.
Correct.
Because the Niners always have the potential to, you don't know what they're going to do, but you got one of the best coaches there, GMs, so you can't ever rule them out.
Right. Yep. Always going to be there.
So moving on, let's look at the other. They ranked that division the third toughest, which was that AFC West, that's number 3 behind the NFC West, and the NFC North is number 1. The number 4, which I thought was really interesting, because I think this thing to me is an absolute shakeout, is the AFC North, because you've got those teams, Burrow, the Bengals, as they are really tough as far as close. Burrow, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore with the new coach. And we talked about it coming in about the new coaches and what kind of impact is that going to have with Minter being in Baltimore, Mike McCarthy being in Pittsburgh, and then Monken being in Cleveland, who they want to fire already. But what impact are these new coaches going to have? And I don't think, maybe you could say, well, maybe you take Cleveland out, but I don't see a big difference. I mean, who do you I mean, if you say to me, who can win that division, I don't know. I mean, that to me, that division is like, you can make an argument that, okay, maybe Kansas City is a favorite, maybe. But in that, and then you can make those other divisions, even though they're good, you could say, well, Detroit is favored. Okay. But when you get to that AFC North, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Like, there's no, to me, in my eyes, that division is an absolute, total, crapshoot.
Yeah, because when I look at Cincinnati, I mean, I'm going on what I see last year. That offense is absolutely dominating. But their defense stunk. But when you look at what they've rung over, the players that they got should make it be definitely an upgrade. But will they mesh? I say if they mesh, you got the coach that's been there, and Zach Taylor, you should win the division. But you got Minter, who came over from the Chargers, and he was, I think, with Baltimore at first, early on. Can he get these guys to play and get Lamar back to where Lamar was at, this could be a dangerous team.
Right
and then
now,
Pittsburgh will rejuvenate Rodgers in that offense. Get Pittsburgh to be that offense that Pittsburgh used to be. And if that happens,
a new voice.
Yeah, because their defense has been playing good, but their offense has been so terrible. So let's see what happens.
Well, according to numbers here, Baltimore Ravens are favored to win the division.
Wow.
They also have an over-under number of 11.5.
Whoa.
So they think the Ravens, and they're an odd favorite to win it at minus 112 to 115. So they're pretty, I think, a high is,
To
win
win
it. They've
win
got
the Super Bowl or win the
division.
The division, okay.
They got Baltimore clear favorite to win the division. The Bengals are up next at plus 170 to 194. Let's just say that they've got the Bengals a solid second. They've got Pittsburgh a solid third at plus 510, and the Browns last at plus 2100. Another situation where they're not quite as compact as your other division 1 through 3, because Baltimore's a clear favorite. Bengals are actually the clear number 2 choice, and Pittsburgh's the clear 3. And then Browns, I mean, this to me, and looking at the odds, it's more defined as what I thought.
Right.
They've got the Ravens clearly winning that division, followed by the Bengals being a clear number 2, and the Pittsburgh Steelers being a clear number 3. There's a big gap, a significant gap between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and then obviously a canyon between the Steelers and the Browns. The Browns are getting no respect, plus 2,100. You know, they're like the Cardinals and the Raiders.
Yeah. Yep. Same way. I just I'll probably lean towards the Bengals for the simple fact if that defense can play, because people got to remember the Baltimore's defense was terrible last year too.
Right, they weren't that good.
They weren't that good, and so if they got to rebound defensively and offensively with a new coach.
Right.
Bengals got to rebound defensively with these new pieces.
Yeah, right.
The offense is a juggernaut. So the Bengals and the Cowboys remind me of the same team.
Same thing.
They're like the same team. Yeah. So I can't wait to see what is going to happen. But wow, that was shocking what you just told me. They got Baltimore.
Here's food for thought. Now, when you look at the over/under numbers, okay, Baltimore's over/under is 11.5. Bengals over/under is 9.5.
Wow.
The Steelers, even though they're third, their over/under is 8.5. There's only one game difference between the Bengals and the Steelers when you're looking at over/under. Yet when you look at the odds, the Bengals are clear favorites to second place. And then obviously the Steelers. So here's even a funnier part. As bad as the Browns are, brutally, plus 2,200, their over/under is 6.5. They're supposed to lose or win 2 less games than the Steelers. When you start looking at over/under numbers, and you're looking at the odds,
now that gives them a chance because now we go back to what we said earlier.
Exactly.
Injuries.
Right.
Bad call.
Yeah.
And what else we said? Injuries, bad call.
You get like it's right.
Yeah. Any of those
an injury, bad call, a bad break,
turnovers.
Or you just, like I said, or the other team gets lucky.
Yeah.
Because, again, these games, a lot of times, if we notice through the years, that there's not a big difference. Because look at all the one-score games.
Right.
It'll blow your mind. And especially when there's sports talk people, that game's going to be a garbage game, don't watch it. I won't name a name, but I'm just saying there's some talk, say, that's a crappy game. Don't watch that game. That's garbage. These games, these 1 o'clock games are garbage games. Like, yeah, okay. But guess what? We're all watching those garbage games.
Yep.
I am.
I know I am.
So is you. And there's a lot of other people that are
That's
watching
right.
these games anyway. And they end up being good games on competitive last possession, who wins the game, we watch them.
Right.
And what I think is funny is, Cleveland, you want to kick them to the curb, they're terrible, but they're only 2 games wins less than Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And
when you look at the
3,
over-under number.
Are they 3 from Cincinnati, right?
Correct.
And they have a thing about Cincinnati. They usually sometimes split with them on a relatively yearly basis.
That rival I throw out. I would never bet on a Bengal-Brown game ever because I never know who's going to win that game.
Yeah. I mean,
never. I don't care what the records are. Throw the records right out the door. The Browns could be 3-12. The Bengals could be 12-3, and the Browns could beat them by a field goal. And I'll play them, kick their butt, and win by 2 touchdowns. You're thinking, how did that happen?
Right. But they have done that.
But they have done that time and time again. And other way around.
Yep.
The Bengals could be having a crappy season. The Browns are playing great. The Bengals go up to Cleveland. You think they got no way, and they win by 2 touchdowns.
Yep. I done seen it. So.
And that's on a year-to-year basis. Those games make no sense.
Yeah.
The Bengals and the Browns, to me, make absolutely no sense.
Yep.
Because I don't know what to make out of those teams.
Right.
So when you start breaking this stuff down and you start looking at these teams, like that division, I thought that division, when you look at the odds, you think, that division's clear cut. But when you look at the wins, it's not as clear cut.
No.
The over-under wins make that division a lot tighter than the odds certainly do.
Yep. I'm kind of shocked that they got Cleveland.
They got Cleveland at 6.5 over-under.
Yeah. And just to give them that.
And yet they're like 20. What was the number?
21.
They've got no shot of winning the division, but yet they're only 2 games worse than the Steelers for 3.
And that's another team that they beat.
Right. And they have a tendency to beat the Steelers
too.
For no out. Yeah, that's another crazy game.
Yeah.
And one thing you always like about the AFC North, those matchups are always bizarre because you never know who's winning those matchups in that division.
No. I mean, we have seen Cleveland beat each one of them.
Yes, we have. We've
so,
seen Cleveland go down to Baltimore and win.
Right. So.
And I sometimes think Lamar Jackson has problems with Cleveland for some reason I don't know.
Yeah. Something. It's something they found to, put some kind of ointment, as they say. So they definitely have problems.
So when you start breaking it down and you're looking at these divisions, you really do a lot of head scratching because you look at those. Like I said, we're looking at the AFC was number 4, and number 5 is the AFC South, being the 5th toughest division.
Okay.
And now that division is another one that I never know what to make of.
Yeah, that's the Jacksonville division.
That's the Jacksonville Colt. And then Danny Dimes is ready to play.
Yeah, I read that.
He's ready. I mean, he was going to be – here's a guy that – what did he blow the – it was the ACL?
Yeah, I thought something else too, but I don't know.
And a knee. He broke the leg, and then I think he was playing with a cracked bone, and then I think he blew the ACL out. And I think this guy's going to be out. No, he's ready. They say he's ready to play like he'd be opening day.
I couldn't really believe that him or Mahomes would be ready. I thought they would be
I never
6,
thought
7
they would
games
be ready
into the season. They're going to training camp ready to go, and he played great. Danny Dimes, I mean, great. You got to give it to him. He played great. Like he just, matured. It fitted him exactly what he could do. So they are a dangerous team, Indianapolis Colts.
When you look at the odds, and you look at the odds, I always enamored by any of this, but what I like more than anything with this is the odds and the over-unders sometimes just don't jive quite 100%.
Yeah, because it looks like a big gap, but then when you do the over and unders, it's not a big gap.
Well, here, now, let's take the AFC South. Okay, the Texans are favored to win the division, and they're at 9.5 over-under. Jacksonville, who's supposed to be in second place. Now, the favorites to win the division are the Houston Astros, Texans, 110 to 135. But they and the Jacksonville Jags are 9.5, both 9.5 wins.
Wow.
Jacksonville's clearly at second place, and they're basically 190 plus 190.
Okay.
Then the Colts are over under 7.5 wins, but their odds dropped to 370.
Whoa.
But they're only 2 games behind Jacksonville and Houston. Houston and Jacksonville are sitting at 9.5 wins if you're betting.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tennessee, the bottom of the division, but they're still over under is 6.5 wins.
They're right in the mix, really.
And yet they're at plus 800 to win the division, but they're still they're only 3 games worse than Jacksonville and Houston for games to win.
Right.
So I get how these odds break out, but it's so interesting, I think, is that the over-unders are a heck of a lot tighter than the odds. And I'm sure there's reason for that.
Yeah.
It's called betting, and they want people to bet. I get it. But I just think it's really, when you start breaking it down, when you look at the over-under numbers, these teams are kind of tight.
Yep.
Especially Houston and Jacksonville, the over-under is the same number at 9.5.
Well, that means go either way.
So that's a coin flip.
And I'm thinking the only reason that Indianapolis is 2 down, maybe at the time they was looking at that, they was wondering where would Danny Dimes be.
Right. I
as
still
the
think
quarterback.
there's some concern. He will be back. Well, will he be limited? I mean, the injury, there's still probably a concern there.
Right.
Well, I understand that. But still.
But if he's fine,
But if
up
he's
to par,
fine,
I mean,
the
he can win
the 7.5, you might be thinking
9.5 for them now.
Right.
It's a 10 win. So, yes.
Can they get? I guess. And then the Titans are 6.5 wins. They're only a game behind the Colts for over/under number.
Yeah.
So you match up these over/unders. These teams are really tight. The odds not so much, but the over/under numbers.
Is. Yep. It's going to be a very good division.
That's it. Saturday Morning Sports Page. Thank you, Dave Clark. Everybody, do not drink and do not drive. Stay safe. Stay sober. Be careful. Saturday Morning Sports Page. Western Reserve Radio.
The stations that are always ahead of the game. Western Reserve Radio. Western Reserve Radio 2 and